Welcome, fellow armchair Imagineers. SandyClaws here with a new exciting installment of Disney debates inspired by the booming critical and commercial success that is Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. It's not really a Disney debate. What is this? More of a Spidey debate, I guess, right? Or
it's
Marvel
Disney debate Spider-Man edition.
Yeah, Disney debate Spider-Man edition. And of course, in honor of Spider-Verse, which recently hit the store shelves all across America. Co-judging tonight, with me by my side is my trusty colleague, Jacob Wile. Hi, Jacob.
Hello, Sandy.
And in tonight's web of questions, we have which Spider-Verse character deserves their own spin-off? The options are Spider-Ham, Spidey Noir, or Penny Parker. Who should play Jonah Jameson, should he ever appear in the MCU? And out of all the Sam Raimi Spider-Man villains, who is the best and why? And this question will be randomized, which will spearhead us into our series of mysterious speedrun questions later on. Now, I'm no Bruce Campbell, but I'll try my best to properly introduce tonight's brooding contestants. In this corner, the man behind the black and white spandex, the mysterious mastermind who may or may not like to fight Nazis a lot. It's Dragon.
Hiya, fellas.
Perfect. And in this corner, based on his history on these debates, we don't know if he's a superhero or a supervillain. It's the park-hopping, debate-winning, Hawaiian shirt-wearing surfer dude, Tiki!
It's you who's out, Gobby. Out of your mind.
How is that pie, Tiki?
How are we all, folks?
It's so good, Dragon. It's so good.
Woo! I'm doing fine, Sandy.
You were asking me how Pie was doing.
Who did? I accidentally said he likes to fight zombies, not Nazis. I've got zombies on my brain for some reason.
Well, Spider-Man
You might want to see a doctor about that. Get some shampoo or something.
Well, you know what? I could see Spider Noir like spinning off into Call of Duty and fighting zombie Nazis. I could see that.
There's got to be a Spider-Verse where there's a zombie Spider-Man, right? So that could be a thing.
Well, there is Marvel Zombies.
Yeah,
Marvel
exactly. So maybe that'll be a thing in the future.
I was trying to say that for like the past 2 minutes.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Who knows? Maybe sometime. But we are getting that nice Gwen and Miles movie, so that'll be really, really, really great. So for any newcomers. The way this works essentially is each of the contestants will state an opening argument for the question at hand, and then we will proceed to battle it out until the sound you're about to hear is heard. Now, fellas, it's not.
Wait, what is that?
What?
What is that?
It's. I'll play it again here. It's impressive. So once you guys are finished battling it out after each question, I'll play that sound, impressive, and that means that's the R2 we're gonna have tonight. Is that okay?
I guess. What's that from?
It's when Green Goblin catches Spider-Man's punch at the world.
That's like his first interaction with Spider-Man here in the first one.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Right.
Impressive. Remember the whole I surrender, that whole thing.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, that whole cheese ball of a scene. Now, boys, it's not too late to turn out. You've got one final option here.
Are you in or are you out?
What do you think, Dragon?
Oh, I'm surprised you didn't use Avenge Me.
Oh well, there's so much to choose from. I was going to go with one of those crazy Tobey Maguire screams, but I thought that'd be a little bit too over the top.
Yeah, you're right. That would be over the top. Okay, let me ask you one more. I was going to try to get one more. Okay, aside from Avenge Me, let me ask you if this is on the table. All right, otherwise we'll just go with, I guess, impressive. But okay, if this is on the table,
so
do what you need to do with her, then broom her fast.
So everyone, pull out your illegal Michael Keaton weaponry, your Green Goblin tridents, and giant cartoon hammers, because you two are going to need everything you've got in your arsenal of quick wit and vocabulary to defeat each other. Hey, Bonesaw, you ready? Oh, crap, I messed it up. I said Bonesaw, are you ready? He's supposed to say Bonesaw. Yeah, Bonesaw's ready. That's been a joke between Tiki and I. I played it.
Oh yeah, you better believe it.
Yeah, I'm messing up all the audio files tonight. But anyways, that's.
I admire your efforts, Sandy.
Yeah, I'm trying here. I didn't want to download everything and have to make separate sound waves and all that. Anyways, you guys get the idea. Bonesaw is ready.
There we go. There we go.
Okay. And I hope that's how all you guys feel tonight, because this is gonna be a tough one.
It's a cage match.
It's a cage match, exactly.
Now, if I beat Tiki in 2 minutes, do I get $100 or do I get the 3,000 as promised?
You get nothing, Dragon. You get nothing.
Not
you get nothing and like it.
Punch to the face.
It's like it's not my problem.
All
right, guys. Well,
if you guys understand it.
Oh yeah.
So Dragon would be Spider-Man. I'd be the guy robbing the place. I'd be Jacob, Uncle Ben.
Oh, good. Oh no! Don't let me
That's my uncle.
And then I'd be Flip Marco shows up 2 movies later. Okay. So
I've done terrible things too.
Although
terrible things.
Although Dragon is more thematically closer to Spider-Man Noir than anything else.
Oh, absolutely. So yeah, let's get into it, guys. Who's gonna go first here?
Well, let's find out.
Yeah. Well, as Tiki's doing this real quick, I just want to say some ugly things might be said here, but remember, folks, it's to win it's to win an argument, to win a cage match here. So
yeah.
Also, can we just please hype up? This is the first time, Dragon. How long has it been for you? Like a couple of years since you've stepped into the ring?
Well, remember when we did this, it was St. Patrick's Day. It was either St. Patrick's Day of last year or the year before. So
I'm pretty sure it was the year before, man.
1 or 2 years.
And I don't think I've ever hosted, right?
No,
this is the first time you've hosted too. Lots of milestones going on here.
Wow.
I'm doing this match in a kind of an exhibition capacity, I guess.
This is like a one-time only exhibition grudge match.
Yeah.
And, Dragon, I've given you things to get you pissed off at me for, so I want you to use your inner Henry Winkler and channel that.
Use it.
How are the comments looking, Jacob?
What?
How are the comments looking?
Well, we actually are now joined by Donovan Martin.
Hey, Donnie.
Donovan, hey.
Hey, Donnie.
And we even have now four people, including me, watching.
Nice.
Okay.
And as previously, I will keep an eye on the chat. Where Donovan Martin even said that Tom Holland teased something, and his favorite Spider-Man is Spider-Man 2.
Got good taste.
Also, guys, just to reiterate in the comments, please, by all means, you guys in the comments are the third judge. We are looking for 3 opinions here: Sandy, Jacob, and the people in the comments. Those 3 people are going to round out who gets the point each round.
Yeah, so as you hear these questions and the answers, make sure you leave your own opinion, who you think has the best argument.
I actually mentioned that in an earlier chat message.
Oh, great. Okay. Perfect. Okay, so let's go ahead, Jacob.
Looks like Tiki's going first.
Okay.
I'm going first, yep.
All right, so again, Tiki, the question is, which Spider-Verse character out of Noir, Penny, or Spider-Ham deserves their own spin-off movie? Not a TV show, not a comic, but a movie like what we've gotten in the past.
Well, these characters already had comics.
Well, yeah, I know, just more comics.
I know, I was just being technical.
Well, don't.
All right, I'm going with Penny Parker.
Okay. All right. And Dragon is going with, I'm guessing, Dragon.
Spider-Man Noir.
Very fitting choice. Now,
an answer that surprised no one.
I'm really excited to hear these. I really am. Tiki, go ahead.
All right, so Penny Parker's movie, there's a lot of reasons why I want this to happen. It's going to be, first of all, it's going to be a female-led superhero movie that we can all get behind. That's going to be really, really entertaining, just super joyful, but at the same time, very thought-provoking and heartwarming. The reason is what we're going to do with this movie is it's going to have a flashback and flash forward setup. is going to kind of have two timelines in it. The first timeline is going to be retelling Penny Parker's origin story. The familiar, it's the familiar Spider-Man story, but just told through this futuristic anime setting. And also we get to see kind of like the emergence of Spider and Penny's friendship. We really get to see that develop through these flashbacks. We get to see the death of the Uncle Ben character. We get to see how that really shapes her. I guess the death of her father in this case. And we really get to see how that shapes her. Meanwhile, in the flash forward timeline, we're seeing her rebuild Spider, having to start from scratch. Kind of this lesson of how to move on from losing a friend and gaining new friends and all that stuff. Kind of a very Mr. Rogers type moral, if you will. And just stylistically, I think it'd be just really, really cool to see. Like I said, it'd be a female-led film, which is very important in this day and age. And importantly, just to get some more representation in there, it would be directed by the Wachowskis, who, of course, they're very well known for their anime influences. Honestly, I think Speed Racer is an incredibly underrated movie. And that's kind of the vibe I want to go with the Penny Parker movie, except I want to kind of have some more thought-provoking tones in there as well. So, this is just all about girl empowerment, but in a cool, hip way, and not kind of shoving it down your throat. Just girl empowerment in terms of an awesome story. And that's my pitch for a Penny Parker movie.
Wow. Okay. Dragon, what's your opening argument?
All right. So outside, maybe I don't know if we necessarily specified this just in case. Outside of Spider-Gwen, which of course is very likely, if not officially confirmed, to get her own movie. Like she and Miles are going to cross over again in the next installment. Outside of Gwen, like taking her off the table for the purposes of this argument, for this debate, Spider-Man Noir is the breakout star of Spider-Verse. Outside of Gwen and obviously our main three kind of components of that movie, Miles, Peter, B. Parker, and Gwen. Like those three, they're the main story. And then we have kind of our three characters enter the fray, which we're kind of talking about. Spider-Man Noir is the breakout star of Spider-Verse in that regard. He has the best lines. He's got a great design. Nick Cage doing the voice very well, in my dad. He's based on some very solid source material to work from in the first place. And out of the group, I think you'll find he has the most substance. He has objectively the most substance out of anyone in the group, and also a lot of substance to mine in a spinoff. I mean, you don't have to just do like a straight adaptation. You could do that, and beyond that, you could, again, you could mine just kind of what you can do with that setting, with that landscape, and again, with that character. Again, we got kind of a taste of, a sampling of. And definitely a lot of good spin-off material there. And the last point I really want to hit before I end my opening here is personally, and I can attest to a few people, even a few people in this room, but I can attest to, I've always wanted to see a black and white detective film in animation. I know I'm not the only one. We've wanted to see that for a long time. It's something that still has not been fully, rarely, if not ever, been done right. I really don't think it's been done. At the very least, it's something we've been waiting for Pixar to do for the longest time, to see a computer animated black and white detective film just kind of like fully done, and just kind of bring that back and kind of see an animation, see it done right. And we still have not seen that. We haven't seen that done, and this is the opportunity to do it with. If any character, if any moment in time right now to make this work, it's Spider-Man Noir, a black and white character who not just as this black and white character, black and white detective character whose whole world is in black and white to the point where the man is colorblind and has all sorts of great moments that represent this fact. That he has wind that follows him wherever he goes. He drinks egg creams on the regular. And the man, again, there's a slew of things like I could bring up there. But the point being, this moment, just based on this question, again, if Hollywood is having their listening caps on right now, folks, this is the opportunity to give Spider-Man Noir his day in the sun, give him his movie. You want to do something new, it's going to change, revolutionize the animation industry. It's going to, at the very least, open a door that we haven't seen before, challenge something, just see something really spectacular. Amazing, one could say, a multiple of other Spider-Man adjectives. Trust me, Spider-Man Noir is the way to go. You won't be sorry. It is how we do something we haven't seen before, and it's going to be a lot of fun and just untapped potential. It's going to bring back the days of old, but also Crack the door open. Break the door wide open for the days of new. Let's see it happen, Hollywood. Come on. All right.
All right, guys. Fight it out.
We don't pick the venue. We just dance.
That's right. That's right. Now fight it up.
We don't pick the ballroom. We just
dance.
I said fight.
All right.
What was that?
Look, Penny, it's Macho Man Randy Savage. Don't you?
Oh, right.
Anyway, okay. Look, Penny Parker. She's cool, but again, if the question is just going by what the question is, which Spider-Verse character deserves a spin-off? She's cool, but she doesn't deserve a film. Emphasis of film. She does not deserve a full movie quite yet. We got to let her build up. We got to let her build up a fan base first and foremost. Because believe me, Penny Parker. I'm not saying she hasn't been around because obviously they're not pulling her out of thin air. But obviously Penny Parker is an existing character. But let me just put it to you this way: the Marvel Mangaverse. It's I'm pretty sure that's where she heralds from. But because there's this whole like Mangaverse, like there's Marvel Zombies, multiple kind of multiverses of Marvel comics and imprints and such. And you have the Mangaverse, which is it's almost like the Animatrix. It's almost like kind of what the Matrix did way back when. But you have
hence the Wachowskis. Hence why the Wachowskis would be perfect.
I think technically her first official appearance was in the Spider-Verse crossover.
That's a fair point, but again, I'm saying like the idea of like doing kind of a manga inspired thing with Spider-Man, I think comes from. But you may be entirely right. That's my point. The point is like she's very much an unknown at this point. She doesn't have much of a following, and the main introduction is through Spider-Verse. And yes, there was a Spider-Verse event in the comics. Of course, we don't necessarily have a Spider-Verse movie without that coming from it. But the point being, like, it's still like a fragment of a story that's just still like it. And her heyday right now is still a fragment of the story. I could see her, taking the world by storm in shorts. I think we need to give her some shorts. We need to give her some new comics. We gotta build up her fan base before she's worthy of a film. And based on what you said, Teague, which again, you don't really need to go through a whole pitch, but again, by all means, I'll entertain it. Wachowskis, and you're using Speed Racer as a point of comparison, adaptation of a source material of an anime that already didn't go so well. A lot of people agree, and I watched it. I gotta tell you, it's not the best adaptation. It makes a lot of weird choices, and I know it's be animation versus live action, of course, but still, it's just like they don't. How
familiar are you with Speed Racer?
I've seen. Wait a minute. What do you mean?
I mean, have you actually watched the anime?
Yeah, I've watched the anime.
Like, how much of it?
Yeah, well, I'm not up to date. Well, I'm not uber familiar with Speed Racer.
No, I'm saying like the original 60s anime.
Well, I've seen the new remake they did a couple of years
back. Because as far as I'm concerned, Speed Racer, the reason why that movie's so misunderstood is that it's a perfect adaptation of the original 60s anime. And the original 60s anime was bonkers, man. And that's why I love the movie so much. But anyways, Dragon, you're really just kind of not giving me room to breathe here, pal, and I'm not going to tolerate that anymore, man. I've got to fucking state my own claim in this, man.
Then make your move.
I really think that Penny Parker is kind of like the breakout star for a certain subset of people. Frankly, Dragon, I think you're living in a bubble with this whole idea that that the Spider Noir is really he's the character that has the most quotable lines for sure. But I feel like the problem with the other two options that aren't Penny Parker, both Spider Noir and Spider Ham, is that essentially, for all intents and purposes, in the context of the actual movie, not the source material, not talking about how they changed animation or whatever, in the context of the actual movie, Spider Noir and Spider Ham are jokes. Penny Parker is not a joke. Penny Parker is an adorable character, but she has one of the most tragic moments in the whole film, which I am building my new film off of, which is the death of Spider in itself.
Which I'll remind you, Spider didn't die. The Spider's alive. The Spider went with her. She didn't lose a friend, all right? The robot, which we saw her rebuild, essentially. She's on the way of rebuilding. If it's not already rebuilding, the thing even comes on and smiles at her. Where's your conflict?
Ah, shit. You're good, Dragon. You're really good.
All right, should I keep going, or?
Come on, Tiki. You can get him.
Well, you know what? Your film would be all men.
Oh,
And my
do I have to call back Maltese
female-driven.
Do I have to call back Maltese Falcon to you? We had the secretaries, the femme fatales. We had really great female characters in those movies. Again, we could homage there, and there was even a woman in Spider-Verse behind him. Like the classic femme fatale coming in the office with the case. You can definitely have that. And of course, there's Aunt May. There's Mary Jane, Aunt May in the Spider-Man Noir. To my recollection,
I think the first black and white detective movie should be a Brad Bird Pixar movie, and
Brad Bird could direct this.
Oh my
Brad
God.
Bird almost directed The Spirit. He almost directed The Spirit back when, which is a DC property. So again, and of course, I'm not saying Brad Bird can't do things. Again, he's done Mission Impossible. That was outside the framework of Pixar. Well, I can't do animation outside of Pixar.
Technically, he did do the Iron Giant before.
Absolutely. If you want to go there, yeah.
Jacob.
Yeah, Jacob. Seriously, man, come on. I'm getting just
fine. Okay, redact that point from the record, but regardless.
All right, I'm just going to give Tiki about 60 seconds to think here, all right? Is that okay?
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, I really do feel like Penny Parker is more at the heart of what Spider-Verse is about than Spider-Noir is. Spider-Noir has all the best lines, but yeah, sure, I might have misremembered the robot dying thing, but it was still a heartfelt moment, man. It was still like it was still a kind of a crushing moment in the actual context of the film, even though at the end of the movie the robot gets rebuilt, sure. But you have to remember that the original robot is something that her and her dad worked on together. It was a passion project of her and her father's, and that's what I would essentially frame the movie as. I'd essentially frame the movie as, kind of like a Bumblebee style thing, right? Kind of like a kid in her car sort of deal, and it's like we've all had that experience, except for me because I don't drive. But anyone who drives has had the experience of getting a first car, loving a first car, and losing a first car. That doesn't mean that other cars won't come along. That doesn't mean that you won't love other cars. But the fact of the matter is that's what you frame it around. That robot is the attachment that she had to her father, and that robot is now gone. That's really what the heart of it is. And like I said, I'm sure that the source material there's plenty to mine from. But at the end of the day, I really do fear that that Spider-Noir would be style over substance. And yes, you can say that manga is style over substance as well. But I think that with manga, there's more to go with. You don't necessarily have to make it like a traditional manga. You could do kind of like a Last Airbender style thing with the animation where it's westernized, but it still has like a Japanese influence to it. And like I said, I just think creatively, I feel like your movie would be taking on a very, very linear sort of like detective film noir Maltese Falcon vibe, and it'd be kind of predictable what we'd be getting into. There's a reason why, for example, Lego Batman isn't nearly as memorable as the Lego movie, for example, is that Lego Batman kind of hits the same sort of tone over and over and over again. It was funny as the side character in a movie, but once you bring him into his own individual movie, I'm not saying that Lego Batman's a bad movie by any means. I like Lego Batman, but I don't love Lego Batman. And I honestly kind of feel like that would be what it is. Like by the end of it, you almost might be diluting the Spider-Noir character. And I feel like there's less danger in diluting the Penny Parker character. Because as you said, Dragon, Penny Parker isn't like, I feel like there's less of a risk with Penny Parker, honestly, because Penny Parker isn't like some big character. Like if you give her own movie and it doesn't go well, it's not necessarily the end of the world. If you give Spider-Noir his own movie and it doesn't go well, then, well, you could be looking at Into the Spider-Verse 2 becoming like the Lego movie 2. A good movie that gets overshadowed by, a not so great spinoff.
You can't make that argument. You can't compare it to Lego Batman and then say it's Lego Movie 2. You can't just go with that with Spider-Man Noir. You're arguing it as an inferior sequel when it hasn't even gotten its first movie yet. All right, you have just using the Lego Bat movie example. That yes, you could do it in that framework where again we introduce our character like we did with Lego Batman in Lego Movie. Or, okay, we introduce him; he's kind of a breakout character. Therefore, we give him a movie. We do that with Spider-Man Noir. There's still substance, and again, it's something we haven't seen animated before. Again, black and white detective and animation.
Yeah, and I feel like your argument, like you just keep on saying, like, yeah, it's something we haven't seen before. It's the style, But honestly, I feel like my pitch has more substance to it. I feel like my pitch, there's a lot more heart, a lot more gravitas, but at the same time, you have the lighthearted anime influences. You definitely have the humor in there, you know.
They've all lost something. They've all lost a loved one, an Uncle Ben, a father, and again, she seems to be in a good place by the end of that movie, and you'd be lingering on.
Yeah, but that's why you have the flashback structure. You have the flashback structure to kind of give weight and gravitas to the character as she's dealing with a current event, as she's dealing with like a current bad guy. That
well, Spider-Man Noir could be solving Uncle Ben's murder. Tell me you wouldn't be at least interested in that. So we've always seen Spider-Man flirt with and haven't been done.
It's just using the framework of the detective thing. It's just
which would make sense.
Yeah, it does make sense, but
why does framework hurt? Why is it
a lot more creative? My movie has a lot more to offer. Your movie just kind of takes the framework of something that we all know what's going to happen. Like
your movie's going to be hard to
market. Like I said, I feel like original Pixar would be the route to go. I don't feel like Spider Noir is the first black and white detective movie that I want to see. I don't know. Maybe this.
Let me hit you with realities here, okay? Here's why yours isn't getting a movie. All right, yours isn't getting a movie because believe me, the market we're in right now. If we're asking this question, market you're in right now.
Captain Marvel is a huge success.
Why are you just? Why? How is that any? Has any real correlation there? Okay, let me tell you this.
Because I'm saying Captain Marvel is a mediocre as fuck movie.
Hold on. Let's
success.
This has nothing to do with Captain Marvel. Let's let Dragon finish his statement here.
Let me be clear here. Okay, here's what's happening right now. Penny Parker. First of all, Spider. I mean, just how is that going to look on a poster? Spider. People are going to be looking at it as like, why is it like Spider like like hyphen ER just in the spelling of that in itself? We'll just table that.
That doesn't have to be part of the title.
Well, that's what the character's name is. Okay, fine. Doesn't have to be part of the title. Fine. But anyway, getting started.
The title would be Spider-Verse. Penny Parker.
My original point is this. Here's what would happen. All right, it's going to get a direct-to-video release, not a theatrical feature film release. It will not. That will not happen. That's where we're at right now. The anime will go to the home video. This could get a it's going to go to home video, and that's what you've seen. That's the way they're releasing all of these movies now. And none of them have gotten a theatrical release. And beyond that, you also have the basic marketing issue with Penny Parker. Penny Parker
it could go straight to Netflix and then get nominated for Best Animated Film.
Would you market Penny Parker to kids? Would you admit that Penny Parker is kid friendly?
Yes, I would admit that. That's part of the Penny Parker.
I know, but follow me on this. Don't you think kids would be confused? Assuming they didn't see Spider-Verse, assuming they don't know like the whole gist of anybody can be Spider-Man, anyone can be Spider-Man. Imagine like your studio executive being pitched this movie. It's like
you see,
you know nothing of her.
That's exactly why Penny Parker appeals to me as a spin-off character, is because you don't necessarily need to tie it into Spider-Man as much. It's like, to me, Penny Parker appeals to me as a character into the Spider-Verse, specifically because she isn't just a clone of Spider-Man in terms of power. She's her own character. She's her own skill set. Kids walking into this movie don't necessarily even need to know that she has anything to do with Spider-Man. They really don't. It can hold up as a character. It can hold up all the same.
What I'm saying is I don't think she deserves a film because I don't think she did as much as you think she did in that movie. All right? I really don't think so. I don't think she has enough in the
day. We had 3 options, and I think that Spider-Ham
has a better chance than any of ours, but especially yours. All right, Spider-Ham is most likely to get a film before Penny because we've seen studios do far worse, far dumber ideas. We have. I'm not saying Spider-Ham's a dumb idea. I'm just saying in terms of like what a studio executive would approve. Okay, it's an animal with Spider-Man. Again,
and
that's still
I'm saying like Spider-Ham and yours are both jokes. They're both one note. They both don't offer a lot of substance. All right,
guys. We're getting to Spider-Ham here, and that's not what this is about. You guys have kind of gone in circles here. What I'm hearing a lot of is
Spider-Ham.
What?
Speaking of Spider-Ham.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Nice.
It's really going to be what I would have chosen. And I actually had a pretty interesting idea for Spider-Ham.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's great ideas for all of these characters. You just have to dissect all of the material and see what would work and what wouldn't. You guys, I think you guys have done a really good job at that here. I think both of these would make really interesting movies. Jacob, what do you think?
Honestly, I think both of them made pretty interesting arguments. I mean, though Tiki definitely did. I saw this. Tiki did give more details into his film, but that actually opened up a lot of attack points for Dragon.
Yeah. Tiki, you did recover really, really well after that, first stumble there.
Thank you. Thank you.
What do the comments say, Jacob? Jacob?
I'm trying to read.
Okay.
For whatever reason, Donovan Martin's going on about how Captain Marvel was trash and criminal to the MCU, but that's
gosh. You don't need to get into Captain Marvel.
I did not mean to open that can of
No, I think
like Twilight Zone seems to think that Noir would be good though. Would be good. Penny would be too big heroes, too close to Big Hero 6.
Yeah, I saw that. I really don't think so. Personally, I mean, if this is going to be done the same type of animation style we got in Spider-Verse, it could, but I don't really think so. I think there's a ton of potential for both of these. I like the idea of Spider-Man Noir investigating his uncle's death, but Tiki made a very, very good point of stating that more or less Spider-Man Noir is pretty much a joke throughout the movie, a running joke. Doesn't really have too much emotional baggage with him. Whereas with Penny, she actually has this emotional scene at the end where you actually feel something for her, and you feel an attachment. You feel her sorrow for this robot of hers. And I honestly, I think that does have a little bit more potential than possibly what a Spider-Man Noir movie might have. Jacob, what are your thoughts here? What kind of stuck?
My thought is it all comes down to the overall strength of argument.
You guys both had really, really great arguments. Like I said before, this is going to be really tough.
I mean, I guess for all intents and purposes,
Screen junkies who shall not be named.
What?
I said to quote a former person on Screen Junkies who shall not be named.
What was the quote?
That used to be a movie fight slogan back in the day, but then
okay.
This is tough. This is tough.
Yeah.
So Jacob, I mean, who, in your personal opinion, who do you think had the better argument here? I'm gonna have to lean on Tiki's side here a little bit, but what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I guess as far as actual thought into the movie, even though some of the points were taken down, I guess even though some of his points were taken down, I guess I actually heard more for Tiki's than I actually did again for Spider-Verse than I did for Noir. I mean, don't get me wrong; these are like inches apart, but I'm gonna have to agree with Tiki on this one.
All right, well, Tiki gets the point.
And just for the record, the comments I would say probably lean towards Dragon, just based on Twilight, right?
I mean, that's pretty much the only comment regarding that.
Okay, I'm just saying. I'm just stating for the record in terms of points.
Dragon, don't get me wrong. I think a Brad Bird, black and white animated detective movie would be amazing. Don't take this the wrong way.
No one is more surprised than I am about this result. Trust me.
No, I think you're right, Tiki. I think there is a lot more emotional.
I know, but it's like literally Dragon almost KO'd me in the first 90 seconds. He came this close.
Yeah, I know, because you weren't saying anything. Yeah, so that was great. That
Okay, cool.
you all cool, Dragon?
Well, no, but let's move on.
Okay. you still have a whole bunch of options here. Okay. Next question: who should play
I'm
J.
excited for
Jonah
this one.
Jameson? What's that?
I said I'm excited for this one.
Oh yeah, who should play J. Jonah Jameson should he ever appear in the MCU? Tiki, why don't you go ahead and explain your pick here?
Well,
Or
let's
should
just
we
say who we're picking
ran-
first.
Yeah. Oh yeah, exactly. That's what I was saying.
All right. So I'm picking Leo!
Very unconventional choice. Dragon, what about you?
I'm picking Ralph Garman.
Okay. So should we randomize this again, or
No.
No, we
I'm
just stick
first
with
each time.
okay?
Yeah.
All right, go ahead.
All right. Leonardo DiCaprio is the master of the freak out. He has so many freakouts on film that it's kind of become his trademark. And I feel like the dude has so much raw energy that he can just totally channel that. Not only that, he's got two known quantities about him. He's the master of the freakouts, and he's also a chameleon when it comes to acting and when it comes to roles. He somehow is so over the top and yet blends in so well. So what I'm saying is just give him this tiny J. Jonah Jameson mustache, give him some gray hair. You know, I'm picturing kind of like how he looked in J. Edgar, except it's going to be a much better movie than J. Edgar. Just come on. And also, one of the reasons why I think Leonardo DiCaprio would fit really well is that essentially I feel like Ralph Garman, while Ralph Garman would be kind of like classic J. Jonah Jameson, I feel like my J. Jonah Jameson, my vision for J. Jonah Jameson and the MCU would be something totally radically different from JK Simmons. Because if we can't get JK Simmons, and I don't want an impression of JK Simmons. I'm not saying that Garman's going to be an impression of JK Simmons, but I'm saying basically my picture of how, again, I'm getting into kind of a pitch here. I apologize, but my vision of how J. Jonah Jameson would be in the MCU would be he'd be kind of like a .com mogul. The Daily Bugle would be a blog instead of a newspaper. And so that would kind of explain why he's a little bit more young and hip, but he's still got like this fiery, explosive personality. And you can't tell me you don't want to hear Leonardo DiCaprio scream at the top of his lungs, "I need more pictures of Spider-Man!" All right, that's all I got.
Can I just say something real quick?
No.
He's actually a bit of a podcaster in the new Spider-Man game.
Son of a...
Jacob, you need to stop that, man. Seriously.
It's not helping anybody's argument.
Jacob, it doesn't matter. That's...
Jacob, can you just let them make their arguments, all right? I appreciate you trying to help, but it's just we're getting people upset here. Okay. All right, go ahead, Dragon.
All right.
I'm not going to factor that into my argument at all, so just don't worry about it, Dragon.
All right. Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, I've seen the future of J. Jonah Jameson. I saw that future in Marvel's Spider-Man, the PS4 game, the PlayStation 4 game. And I tell you, I feel... Basically, I've seen in that game. I saw a really clever take on Spider-Man and his world. That was kind of something I hadn't seen before. It includes J. Jonah Jameson as a podcaster, which is ingenious when you really think about it. How do we bring J. Jonah Jameson into the modern age and not do what we've seen before? Make him a podcaster. And how do you do a podcast? How do you do a podcasting? Kind of J. Jonah Jameson yet keep him in play, and basically that's the way you keep J. Jonah in play, and you keep him all over the place in the MCU. We've seen podcasts done in the MCU with Trish Talk on Jessica Jones. So podcast is definitely the way to go for doing J. Jonah Jameson. So if you're thinking podcaster, look no further. Ralph Garman is your man. So Ralph Garman is relatively... He's relatively an unknown. He's been in films, don't get me wrong, but it's kind of a character actor to an extent. Ralph Garman's been in he's been in some Seth MacFarlane's films. He's been in a number of Kevin Smith films and other things. He's had TV gigs, but again, not a major part. So I'll admit that. So Ralph Garman, he is relatively unknown to some, but again, that's on the big screen. It's on the big screen, a bit of the small screen. But he also is known has quite a big following with his endeavors in podcasting and radio. Emphasis on radio and podcasting. There, he's got a huge fan base. His fan base even has a name. The fan base is called the Garmy. Get it, Garmin and Army. So Garmy. They're all Garmy strong. Being the point. Point being. So, let me just list off here. So you have podcaster extraordinaire with the Hollywood Babylon podcast. He does with Kevin Smith talking and kind of ranting and raving about Hollywood. A lot of fun little segments in there, but also kind of talking about the news in Hollywood, making fun of it. You have the Ralph Report's kind of what he does now, which is kind of similar to Hollywood Babylon, but he interviews people as well. So you have the Ralph Report. And of course, before both of those, you have years on Kevin and Bean at K-Rock, kind of a radio show where he's just kind of there. One of the big things he does on the radio show and does on the podcast and so on and so forth is he's an impressionist. The man's an impressionist galore. He can do impressions. He's an actor. He's an avid comic book fan. And there have been many lists of fan castings that have kind of put Garmin on the list, and he's been made aware of this. And of course, like Garmin, he's aiming at the police, like, hey, of course, I'd love to be J. Jonah Jameson. Of course, who wouldn't? If you asked them, like, who wouldn't want to be J. Jonah Jameson? So he's been made aware of this. People have kind of put him on lists of, like, again, he's not like the number one pick, but he's still on that list. So he's been in consideration. I mean, he has the look. His hair ordinarily has somewhat, if it's not a flat top, it's kind of like in that kind of that cubish kind of shape of J. Jonah Jameson. It's basically the image before us here is. It was a very accurate depiction of what he would probably look like as J. Jonah Jameson. Basically, add some gray in there, give him a mustache, which he's grown mustaches for roles before. Would be a no-brainer in terms of looks. Again, look-wise, he's there, and Ralph Garman's signature style, like Ralph Garman at his funniest when he's going through the Hollywood news and kind of ranting about things, is the man knows anger. He's an angry man. He plays the angry drunk very well many a time, but he also just is kind of the angry guy, kind of the logical guy in the room getting really angry at everything. So, is angry at Hollywood silliness many a time. And, simply, I just apply that to the goings-on of the MCU. Like, Ultron's lifting a city out of the air. Spider-Man, he's crashing a plane on... Spider-Man's crashing a Stark plane on the beaches of Coney Island. You have all these sorts of things that J. Jonah Jameson could be ranting about. People are just disappearing like poofs of dust. What's up with that? He could definitely. There's going to be a lot of material to work with within the MCU. And to top it all off, and here's the biggie. The last point I'm going to make here is that to top it all off, he has a perfect in for the MCU that has been established. Okay, I'm going to hit you with this. So, Agent Carter. Ralph Garman had a very small appearance in Agent Carter, and this is in the 40s. So in the 40s, you had Ralph Garman playing just a nameless announcer. He was a radio announcer on the Captain America radio show. Emphasis on radio. Again, some people might see where I'm going with this. So he played that announcer character. He's kind of like brought to you by Diamond Hand Soap. Oh, girls, diamonds are a girl's best friend. That's basically what he did in that. And basically, what you could have is something that's been kind of time tested in Spider-Man: Homecoming, where we kind of take legacy characters, where we have him as this. We've seen him in the MCU in some way, shape, or form in the 40s, much like the character in Spider-Man: Homecoming, and we do that with J. Jonah Jameson. We kind of unofficially, it'd be kind of like a neat in of like, oh my god, it's so cool. If like you even know that, if you know Agent Carter, it's like, hey, that's like another little cool thing of getting Ralph Garman in the role as J. Jonah Jameson. There's a lot of good reasons Ralph Garman should be J. Jonah Jameson. I, for one, think we should give him a shot. So. Yeah. All right.
Fire it up, guys.
All right. So I have ammunition this time, Dragon, because everything you just said is wrong. Everything you fucking just said is wrong. Ralph Garman, he's an actor, like technically, sure, but most of your argument hinged on the podcast thing, and frankly, I really don't think. I mean, it's like that's like saying there's no rule that says that in order to play something, you have to be that in real life. I mean, it's like, that doesn't mean that he's going to have the acting chops for it. And not to mention, you also mentioned the impressions thing. And like I said, I don't want mine to be an impression. I want an entirely different take on J. Jonah Jameson. You said he has the look for it, but hair and makeup can do a lot these days. Not to mention, I think that my J. Jonah Jameson, ideally in a perfect world, would not look like comic accurate to what J. Jonah Jameson usually looks like. You know why? Because JK Simmons is the most comic accurate thing that I have ever seen on screen ever to this day. And I think that we need to distinguish it from J.K. Simmons, or else it's going to feel like an impression of J.K.
Okay,
Simmons.
look, in regards to hair and makeup...
Also, My Angry Guy won an Oscar, and My Angry Guy might be the Marlon Brando of this generation, all right? Go ahead.
First of all, with regards to hair and makeup, literally we're just adding a mustache. You don't even need the gray in there if you want to change up the look. It's just a question of mustache or no mustache. So let's get off the hair and makeup look very similar to them. I mean, the guy generally looks like JK Simmons, which is kind of a plus with the role. Regardless, the podcasting thing is, again, the man is an actor. He's acted in things, again, small things, but let me point it to you this way. Okay, JK Simmons, if you want to measure things by success, JK Simmons, he had Oz going on, but on film, the guy had nothing. And nothing, if you want to...
Okay, but Oz, I can tell you right now as a fan of Oz required way, way, way more diversity in that one role by J.K. Simmons than Ralph Garman has ever pulled off on screen. I mean, that was a complicated character. That character was meant to be both terrifying and hilarious at the same time, and J.K. Simmons pulled it off. And there's a reason why that role put him on the map. That was a monumental role for him.
No one's asking Ralph Garman to be Oz.
Fuck role for
the guy from Oz. No one's asking him to be that. I'm just using it as a point of example. That, again, even if you have...
And I'm saying that Ralph Garman in his filmography does not have anything as ambitious as that under his belt.
The point is, J.K. Simmons was a character actor like Garman. He had a really great character on Oz, but you take that out of the equation. J.K. Simmons, he took film roles because he believed in the project and he was just there. Even before Oz, you could say the same. I'm saying that was the only notable thing to his name. Same thing if you want to make another example. You have like Christian Bale, like he had American Psycho. That was the main thing that made his name, and he was relatively an unknown when he goes into Batman Begins.
And again, American Psycho, with all due respect to Ralph Garman, I love Ralph Garman as a podcaster, but American Psycho as a role is much more complex than anything.
Basically, your argument is podcasters can't act. That's basically what your argument is, which is a little offensive, if I'm being frank. I mean, come on. Again,
no, my argument is that podcasting is a different kind of acting. That's my argument. I'm saying
if J. Jonah Jameson is a podcaster, how would that hurt?
It's a performance art, but it's not on-screen acting.
How would it hurt? Again, even if he doesn't have to be on screen. Again, I'm saying he could or could not.
I'm not saying it's going to hurt, but I'm saying that Leo's years of experience and Leo being like this huge, iconic, towering name in the industry while still being able to be a chameleon in every role that he's in.
First of all, he's not that much of a chameleon. That's mostly on the makeup, right? He always looks like DiCaprio. It's the Richard Donner thing when you're casting Superman. You're going to see, okay, if you put Leo DiCaprio in like an iconic suit, it's like, hey, it's Leo DiCaprio as this character. It's not this character before it's Leonardo DiCaprio. He's played, again, in real life, he's played these real life figures. Yes, but it's like DiCaprio as those real life characters. Like the closest thing is probably Jagger, but again, that's more makeup over him, and that's the thing you constantly bring up with like Gary Oldman for Darkest Hour. Again, you have a makeup before it's a guy.
No. You see, look at my screen image. Like that is not just traditional Leo right there.
You know what I see with that image? I see DiCaprio just shouting, and that's really all you're arguing right now. Is that DiCaprio's just going to be shouting?
No, DiCaprio has two modes. It's DiCaprio shouting with a beard.
Yeah, DiCaprio shouting with facial hair. See, here's what DiCaprio does, right? He's either shouting like a teenager or shouting like a southerner. That's usually what DiCaprio's main form of yelling, main form of acting is. He's basically DiCaprio, again, folks, I'm going to go a little gruesome here, but nothing against DiCaprio the man, just again, DiCaprio as the JK Jameson type here. DiCaprio basically he's yelling with a baby face. That's what DiCaprio is in essence. Depends on how good the makeup is, but he's yelling with a baby face. That's all DiCaprio. And DiCaprio is a grievous stunt cast.
Billionaire. Like, that's my idea for a new J. Jonah Jameson. So I think that fits.
And it worked out so well with Lex Luthor, didn't it?
You know what? I was excited for that interpretation of Lex Luthor, and I feel like it was the director's fault. I feel like in better hands, it could be a really compelling character. Like, honestly, Mark Zuckerberg in The Social Network might be one of the best villains that we've had in the 2010s, because he is just so cold and heartless throughout that movie, even though he's the main character. And that's kind of like the vibe that I want to go for with Leo.
You're arguing talent and performance here, okay? Garman brings the funny, he brings the rants. Again, the point is the man is close to a living J. Jonah Jameson. If J. Jonah Jameson were a podcaster, has like the Spider-Man game interpretation, which again I'd advise them to go with because that was great. And again, that's a great way to monetize that character. It all just fits in. Again, why not get the guy who's practically him in real life? And also, if you want to hear something we could explore that you're not really arguing with yours, again, we could explore, the soft side of J. Jonah Jameson here. And Garman definitely, Garman knows the comics. He knows his stuff, and he knows how to be that character. Where Leo DiCaprio probably, it's like he's going to have to weigh how much of this should be me reinventing the wheel on this character, doing something completely different versus being faithful to who the character is.
I feel like Leo's thought process with taking on a role like this would be that it's not a very demanding role because there's never going to be a movie that's centered around J. Jonah Jameson. He's probably going to have like
it'll be a waste of DiCaprio, is what you're saying.
No, I'm saying that for Leo. For Leo, I feel like it'd be really appealing to him because he'd get to be a part of the MCU, and he'd also be not really, but he'd get to shape it. Like, I don't really feel like this would be one of those things where he'd like go method with it. I just think he'd have fun with it. And frankly, I think that's what this character needs. I mean, honestly, like I said, my big problem with Garmin is that I feel like Garmin would just be kind of like a pale, more soft imitation of what JK Simmons brought to the table. And we did see some soft moments with JK Simmons. There weren't a lot of them, but they were definitely there. My interpretation of J. Jonah Jameson is to go even more over the top than J.K. Simmons did, but in an entirely different new direction with it in a way that only my boy Leo can provide.
Look, let me ask you this, all right? Tell me again, sorry, let me rephrase this, okay? Look, Garmin as Jameson would be a better fit to what the MCU is doing with Homecoming right now. And he would fit the Homecoming style, fit the humor. It's mocking, someone who's mocking elements of the MCU, which we've kind of had through the tone of Homecoming, and something of like someone who's really skilled, like, okay, kind of mocking the goings on of the world right now. We'd have that tailor-made with this person here, and again, we can move him from the school to the city, and we'd be doing that really well with, again.
You see, I feel like DiCaprio's fucking baby face would work better with the Spider-Man movies in the MCU because everyone already looks like they're 12 years old anyways. So
I'm saying you're not utilizing J. Jonah Jameson as well. You're saying he's
what is there to utilize with J. Jonah Jameson? He's
never talking about what's the utilizing
character.
Yeah,
that's my point.
He gives first of all, he's giving Peter Parker a job, and of course, there's a whole plot device, and the fact that it's kind of giving Spidey like kind of some feedback from the city. It's kind of J. Jonah Jameson is the mouthpiece of New York in those stories. J. Jonah Jameson has a role. He has a big role in those stories, and again, he has like he brings some comedy. There's some heft there, and there's also Spider-Man feeling guilty. We need him in that. We need him in that role, and you're basically saying DiCaprio's like a bloated cameo of like, look who we got for it. We got DiCaprio, and that's what it's going to end up being. I want someone who's going to respect the story and just kind of really celebrate their role in the MCU. And look, there's something really positive that could come from this. Again, as I was saying with the Agent Carter thing, like this might, again, incidentally, might draw some attention. Agent Carter, gets kind of like a plus on top of casting this guy. Be kind of nice, kind of set some things in motion for that show. I don't know, maybe if he's introduced, it goes big. Like, yeah, that guy who played J. Jameson is pretty neat. Let me you're watching me go to his IMDb, like, oh my god, he's in the Agent Carter show. Maybe boost some numbers. Again, it's a plus. Again, like we've done this literally like Jim Morita in Homecoming. He had the principal. He was in that.
Ooh, sorry. That was the impressive line. Sorry, I had it set too low. Impressive. All right, let's call it a quits here, guys. Great arguments, guys. I really like both these choices. I wasn't too sold on Garment at first, but Dragon, you really sold this one, I think. Especially towards the end. For me personally, the entire time I was thinking, wow, DiCaprio would make a really interesting. He bring this whole new level to this character that we haven't seen before, because what they're doing with all these movies and reboots and things now is they're changing things up. They're making Will Smith the genie. We don't really know if that's going to work or not. It could work. It might not. It's kind of on the fence right now, but I feel like people are taking risks, and this could be one of those items where it could turn out really, really well. But Dragon brought this really, really great point where people are going to walk in. They're just going to say, "Oh, look who we got. We got DiCaprio for this role, and he's yelling and screaming." And once I started thinking about it, I thought, "Wow, yeah. If I went into a movie theater and all of a sudden, after we've heard so much, after we've been expecting to see Jameson after all this time, and then he's just DiCaprio. Oh wait, yeah, that's pretty cool, I guess. Whereas with Garmin, I think he's not really someone you'd expect. He seems more, I guess I want to say average, but it seems like he would fit a little bit better for that universe. You don't want to make Jameson a huge role in this. You don't want to make him over the top, because I think with DiCaprio, what happened is he'd draw too much attention away from the actual story, what was actually going on. He'd pull you out of the movie. Where with Garmin, he'd give a good performance, and he'd be there to do his job and play his character the way he's going to, and then you'd stay involved in the story. You'd stay immersed in what's going on, rather than being taken out of everything just to see that it's DiCaprio. So all in all, I'm gonna have to go with Dragon's idea here. What do you think, Jacob?
I was gonna go with Dragon as well. I mean, they said at first I would have been totally convinced in seeing Leo, but as pointed out, Leo's more of a leading man. Like, why waste his talents on someone like J. Jonah Jameson? I mean, Ralph Garman would be someone would be perfect for J. Jonah Jameson in all the right ways. Whereas, don't get me wrong, Leo's a talented actor, and the whole Oscar thing was kind of out of nowhere. I mean, technically, a lot of actors in this as one in MC have won awards and other things. So that doesn't really matter anyway. But I think you'd be better as a leading man, like as a leading role. Like I didn't like. It would have been even interesting to see as Quentin Beck in the upcoming as Mysterio.
Yeah, that would be cool. I think that would be cool.
I mean, excited for Jake Gyllenhaal and all, but I think Leo would actually have been a pretty good pick for that too.
Yeah, I think so as well. I agree with Jacob. I think DiCaprio would work better as a leading man, like a villain, rather than Jameson, who would appear, only for such a short time during the movie, because there's not really much of a. The thing is that we've already introduced the characters in Homecoming. We've already introduced these storylines, and to bring in this new character, and then to have all this focus on him might be a little bit too much. Whereas with the Raimi movies, we were introduced to Jameson at the end of the first act, so we had him for the rest of the movies 1 through 3. So it's a little bit convoluted, but I think Dragon's choice here is going to work a little bit better, or would work a little bit better. So that's 1 point for Dragon. That's 1 point for Tiki. Things are looking pretty good.
Wait, no, Jacob. Didn't Jacob say that he was?
What?
Yeah, vote for Dragon.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah, that's what I said too.
No, you said 1 point Dragon, 1 point Tiki.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah, you won last round. Remember?
Oh, I'm sorry. My bad. I thought you were trying to count points for. I got you. Okay, yeah, you're right.
All right.
Anyways.
We're down to the final. That's right. We're down to the final question here. This is the randomized one. Out of all of the Raimi villains, including Harry Osborn, who is the best and why?
All right, let's get the randomizer up.
So we've got Goblin, Doc Ock, Harry Osborn, Sandman, and Venom. All right.
Going from the comments. Twilight Zone voted for Leo, while D. Hindley had Ralph. D. Hindley also prompted, like, let's save Leo for Adam Warlock or something.
That's
who I think they're going to get to play Adam Warlock, just real quick. I think the Keanu Reeves. I think they're going to get him for Warlock. It's not my pick. I just heard that they were recording Keanu Reeves recently for Captain Marvel. They wanted him for the Jude Law role, and he turned it down because he wants a bigger part in the MCU. I think it's going to be Adam Warlock. That's my theory.
That'd be cool.
Mm-hmm.
But hey, DiCaprio's the chameleon. If they're going that way in the next Spider-Man movie, if we have a chameleon, maybe.
Hey, there we go.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's awesome. Okay, who's going to get what now?
Also, can I just say I can't get the image of screaming baby face out of my head? Like, that's just a hilarious way to describe DiCaprio.
Again, we say what we need to win these things, folks. I'm sorry.
I mean, technically, I guess it's not entirely inaccurate.
No, it's really not at all. I mean, I love DiCaprio. I truly do think he's one of the greatest actors of our generation.
Oh yeah.
Still,
You didn't
that's
pull
not
Wolf
inaccurate.
Wall Street with your argument. Tiki. I think that might have won it for you.
You know, I think you made a comparison from him to Brando. I think he might hold a little bit higher of a bar than Brando did. I don't know. Brando was kind of a jerk.
I was more personally than as an actor, but yeah.
Well, I mean,
Yeah, I mean, honestly, as an actor, I still think Brando's probably got the upper hand.
Bear in mind, he did have to read cue cards, so I mean, it's
That's true.
Brando was kind of a. I think in his later career, he's like, I did The Godfather, therefore I deserve to have an ego.
He had a lot of carte blanche after that. So
yeah, he like the time he kept calling Frank Oz Miss Piggy on set. That wasn't.
Yeah, that was
Anyways,
right.
Off the topic.
Let's randomize.
Let's see. Tiki's gonna be getting.
Oh man.
Sandman.
Shit.
Okay, Tiki's got the Sandman.
I'd almost rather have Venom, honestly.
Well, let's see what Dragon gets.
I'd really rather have Venom.
All right. Well, remember,
this is gonna go so horribly.
No objections, Tiki. Remember.
Oh, fuck me! I can't do this. You really expect me to do this?
It's so nice when it happens.
All right. Tiki, do you want to flip a coin?
I have to do it. That's the nature of the randomization. I'm not gonna do it.
Well, Tiki, do you want to flip a coin on this? Can we do that?
No,
we can't. Oh, I thought that's what the coin was for.
That's not what the coin. What?
What? That is not what the coin is for at all.
The coin is for getting.
It's his. I mean, it's his show tonight. So I mean, he can do with the coin what he wants to do. I'm just saying, if you're asking, is that what the coin's been used for the whole time?
All right. Doc Ock is probably the strongest of any of these. Well, he is the strongest.
It's fine. It's honestly fine. I'll just.
Tiki, if you want to randomize it again one more time, then we can do that because Doc Ock, I mean, he's the top. So
it's not that. No.
I mean, remember, guys, it all comes down to the strength of the argument anyway. I mean, like, you could have like you could have the best character, but the worst argument.
I'll leave it up to Dragon, and Dragon doesn't seem thrilled with the idea.
Okay.
No, you can't just look. You can't randomize just because it's Doc Ock.
All right. Well, Dragon, Doc Ock, he's like he's arguably the best.
And
yeah, so I mean, everyone else is below.
I can do this. So... I can do this. do this.
All right.
Like I do
have a couple aces up my sleeve again for Sandman, so I can do this.
And as I did say, it all boils down to the argument anyway.
Yeah, exactly. Tiki's got Sandman, Dragon's got Doc Ock.
I mean, if I pull this out, it's going to be a freaking miracle, but I do have some arguments in my head, so.
All right.
If this thing will, like, actually cooperate with me. There we go. Oh, God, help me.
Ooh, nice.
Look at that. They're, like, back-to-back. How appropriate.
Looking at the round card here, really nice.
Is that I didn't realize it when I was making this thumbnail, but all of the characters are facing left.
You're right. Oh, my God, yeah. There's a Jacob. Nice work on the. These are the best rounds.
God.
Thank you.
So I am going to base this argument off the basis that technically, on a technical level, with the story, Sandman is the most important villain to Peter Parker. Sandman is the guy who murdered Uncle Ben. That makes him carte blanche. There would not be a Spider-Man if it weren't for Flint Marko. If Flint Marko had not been there on that night, then there would be no great power and great responsibility. It just wouldn't have happened. Not only that, but honestly, Sandman does have by far the most artistic and the best scene in all of Spider-Man 3, which is the transformation scene, you know, where he's kind of building himself up from sand after the incident. That is like honestly a super memorable, super impactful scene on its own right. It's one of those things that even the most hated critic of Spider-Man 3 will point to and be like, yeah, that was a great scene. Not just a good scene, that was a great scene. So not only that, but you have a lot of key motivations with him. You have the sick daughter angle. You have the by the end of the movie, I feel like it really completes son of a bitch. Hold on, guys. Sorry.
That's all right.
Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby.
Okay, I'm sorry. It has like shit. I was doing so well too. I was doing so well, and now I'm just completely thrown off.
What? Just keep on with your argument and just try to get this back on in the background.
Okay, you know what? I'm just gonna turn off the screen share for now, and I'll get it back up when Dragon does his argument. Okay, so let's see. Where was I, guys?
All right. Well, you mentioned the birth of the Sand. I'm sorry, Jacob. Go on.
I think you were mentioning something about the great scene where he was the great scene.
Well, yeah. Okay. So that scene. Honestly, Peter Parker's whole arc throughout all three movies comes full circle at the very end when he forgives Flint Marko. I mean, that's some fucking beautiful storytelling right there, man. Like that is like from the beginning, from the first movie where he murders a guy in cold blood who isn't even the killer, to the point where now he can look the killer dead in the eye, see that he had his reasons to. I mean, that's goddamn beautiful, man. Like I'm pounding my chest right now. That is to the heart that he can learn to forgive like that and still see the humanity in Flint Marko. I mean, like I said, it's really just a crux. The crux of all the Raimi trilogy lands on this guy's shoulders. It really does. All right, I'm done.
All right.
I actually pulled that off. I actually sounded convincing, I think.
Good,
All right. All right. Dr. Otto Octavius, better known as Doc Ock. So Doc Ock is the greatest thing to come out of the Sam Raimi Spider-Man trilogy by far. One of the greatest things, if not the greatest thing. He improved an already great character, one of the most dynamic visuals in the Spider-Man comics. Alfred Molina, this is one of his best roles, at least one of his most iconic roles, if anything. So, of course, many people like Alfred Molina is someone who's also kind of a character actor. He appears in things and he's great, but this is like one of the big roles, like him in a really lead villain role, at least better than, not that he was he didn't give a great performance, but like better than Sorcerer's Apprentice years down the line. But point being, Alfred Molina, easily his best role. He plays such intelligence and such intelligence. You have such an empathy for this character, and it's basically what we do with Doc Ock and Spider-Man 2. Essentially, it's kind of Sam Raimi doing Mr. Freeze, or kind of the Mr. Freeze Heart of Ice story from Batman the Animated Series. That's essentially what we have with Doc Ock here. It's we use Octavius as Peter Parker's mentor, and he holds the wisdom that Peter Parker seeks in achieving balance within his life. In his as is always kind of difficult, like with the age-old Parker luck, kind of befalling him and hitting him, and of course it leads to this great tragedy of a character. What happens, and where Peter Parker goes to this man, he goes to this man he thinks like has all the answers, and of course. It's almost like Dexter season 4 type stuff here. He thinks he's found someone with all the answers and everything's going gangbusters for Otto Octavius. He has a wife. He's a scientist pursuing his dreams, like Peter Parker on the side, kind of interested in science, and vice versa. He's pining for Mary Jane, but again, he can't tell her that he's Spider-Man. All this stuff again, Doc Ock kind of fully accepts things, and he ushers in the Spider-Man No More arc for what Spider-Man goes through in that movie. And again, the point is we facilitate all of this and just kind of Peter Parker's hope, kind of again the Parker luck striking in a big moment with that darn paperclip in that scene. That paperclip's like, oh no, something bad's about that, and that paperclip goes to the sun generator. It's oh god, that tritium, I tell you. Point being, we facilitate the great tragedy. Everything's kind of stripped away from, as is Peter Parker's hopes, as is kind of this great man they put his faith into. And Alfred Molina, great actor. You have that iconic look. We have phenomenal action in this movie, again, facilitated through Doc Ock, and all the great action sequences, all the great Mark Andrews specials, if you will. Mark Andrews was involved in the Spider-Man movies. So, did The Incredibles, did like a whole bunch. Basically, Brad Bird's action guy. He worked on the movies, but you feel that great kind of action beats all throughout this movie. We had a little bit of in the first Spider-Man. We have the wall to wall with the train sequence, with a fight on the side of the building. We have practical effects with Doc Ock. We have puppetry on the arms. Again, all the best, to me at least, all the best Raimi trilogy moments are for the most part for me are Doc Ock related. At least let's say 3 out of 5 of moments for the whole trilogy. If I had to come over the top of it, probably gonna be Doc Ock moments if I'm being honest. So it's the best. Basically, Doc Ock is the best example of it all coming together for what many may consider their favorite Spider-Man film. It's a benchmark of villains from this point forward. Before we have kind of our villains like our Thanoses today, we had Doc Ocks of yesteryear, and boy, oh boy, yesteryear were the good years. A lot of great stuff there. So Doc Ock for the win, baby. Doc Ock for the win, baby.
All right, guys. Fight it to the death.
Okay, what's really interesting about Doc Ock is that he is a very singular villain to his own movie. Whereas literally, with the exception of Venom, who by all intents and purposes is the whammy of this round, all 3 of the other villains kind of radiate throughout all 3 of the movies. You have Harry Osborn, you have Norman Osborn, and yes, I'm fucking sorry, but the writers decided to make Flint Marko the killer of Uncle Ben, so his character does kind of radiate throughout all 3 movies. Otto Octavius, really, he never gets mentioned in Spider-Man 3 at all. It's like after Spider-Man 2, he's kind of just an afterthought. There's really no overarching arc throughout the trilogy with Otto Octavius. He's very much just confined to that one movie. And to me, that's almost kind of like a hit against him. Also, for Otto Octavius, this is kind of something that people have been pointing out, especially in the wake of stuff like Thanos, where Thanos' motivation is just so crystal clear and so greenlit. Frankly, I don't think that Otto Octavius' motivations make a ton of sense. I mean, he's just trying to rebuild some solar thing. And yes, I guess I get that it's like a Frankenstein thing with the arms and the arms are controlling him. I get that. Frankly, I think that Doc Ock is kind of a product of his time. He was amazing back in the day, and his action scenes still hold up. I just don't necessarily think the character and the motivations really hold up. I feel like he gets maybe one scene with Peter before his big transformation, and that's not really a ton of time to establish a dynamic with him. I honestly, as someone who loves Spider-Man 2, I don't necessarily think that Otto Octavius, I'm talking Otto Octavius, I'm not talking Doc Ock right now, I'm talking Otto Octavius as a character. I don't think that Otto Octavius really held up as much as we think we do. I think that we kind of have nostalgia goggles on when it comes to him. Don't get me wrong, Alfred Molina has a great performance, but did Alfred Molina win an Oscar? I don't think so.
You're really hooked on Oscars tonight. I don't
won an Oscar.
It's...
Tom Hayden won an Oscar. Have you seen that scene in Sideways where he's crying to Paul Giamatti? Have you seen that scene?
I have to go through a laundry list of all the great actors who haven't gotten awards just to convince you that the Oscar is not the end-all be-all. How skewed, the fact that someone
Dragon, I'm fighting with Sandman, all right? Give me something.
No, I'm not giving you something. I'm not giving you one grain of sand, boyo. All right. Where to start? All right.
Frankly, I don't think that Otto Octavius has any moments in Spider-Man 2, and I'm being serious with this. I'm not even being hyperbolic in the slightest. I don't think that Otto Octavius has any moments in Spider-Man 2 that are as emotionally gut-wrenching as the big transformation scene in Spider-Man 3. Because Spider-Man 3, the beautiful thing about that is that you see a man just resorted to a monster, right? He's just he can't form himself. He doesn't know what to do. The music is striking. The music is beautiful. The visuals go along with the music. There's nothing with Otto Octavius that's as heart-wrenching as that.
Really? Real okay.
Yes.
First, I'm gonna hit you with 6 words. Then I'm gonna give you an example. 6 words. I will not die a monster.
Again, that's like a moment. That's not a whole scene.
Well, fine. It's broken up by a little like a moment. Then we get right to it. Again, it's what Doc Ock's big sacrifice is. But let me get fine. I'll play your game. Let's give you a moment. All right. The birth of Doc Ock.
Game Dragon. This is all it is because of the randomizer. All right. So yes, come and play.
All right.
Roll around in the dirt with me.
All right, let me raise your Birth of the Sandman with the birth of Doc Ock. This horrific sequence as the most Raimi-esque scene in the whole trilogy, one could argue. Where Doc Ock, he awakens. And by the way, a little fun fact, John Lannis is in this scene. He plays the main doctor. It's a little fun fact I want to share with you folks. Anyway, getting back to my point. So you have this sequence where you have all these doctors, and they're about to and they're kind of doctors talking shop, and okay, let's like they're going to take shop class, and of course with chainsaws and everything, which in itself, chainsaws and operating room is kind of cool when you think about it. They have to remove the arms before they can kind of get Doc Ock kind of back to himself, at least before the surgery can commence. Anyway. Arms come alive, and this is the first sequence where the arms kind of take on kind of a personality, and they're really just kind of coming into the fray. They murder all the doctors, and Otto Octavius is kind of in horror, and we have this great prolific image that beats your that at least competes with your Sandman image, where it's Doc Ock just realizing the horror of the actions that he himself has done, at least on some subconscious level, because of these arms. He's culpable for this because they're on his body. You just realize like, no, we have the silhouette of the arms, rising up as just like, look what I've done. No, and the man's escaping into the world. Now create a monster. The ultimate Frankenstein awakening scenes.
It's a good scene, and yes, I'll agree that it is the most Raimi-esque scene of the trilogy for sure. But like I said, it's very much a goofy scene for the most part. I mean, even that big
it's a tragic scene, not goofy. What are you talking about, goofy?
Okay, Raimi and Goofy go hand in hand with each other, all right? You can't say it's the most Raimi-esque scene in the trilogy and then say it's tragic, all right?
It is tragic. There's some fun, but there's also, again, there's some fun, like a woman, like her nails scraping into the linoleum. Again, that's over the top. That's still kind of horrifying, but again, it's adding to the tragedy, so it is tragic.
I just feel like Raimi and tragic is kind of a contradiction, especially like that. Like, I honestly, for the life of me, I've never felt it. It's not like it's not a good scene, but I've never really felt that scene has much pathos. It's more of like, kind of like a send up of like, crazy, like mad scientist movies and Evil
Which
Dead.
is what Doc Ock is at his core. He's a mad scientist. We added more to him, but he's at his core.
I just think with Doc Ock, it comes down to a handful of memorable sequences. I really do. And when you argue who had the bigger,
you're arguing one sequence for your entire character.
No, but I'm saying that my character's impact, my ripple effect.
Yeah, he's retroactively, convolutedly important that he worked him into a scene, single-handedly ruined one of the greatest scenes in the first Spider-Man movie with the death of Uncle Ben. We've now made it more complicated.
But we're not arguing about like.
I'm saying your character hurts the trilogy. As you're saying, he actually has a bigger impact in the trilogy. He actually makes it a little worse.
Yeah, but no. We're talking about just the actual impact. Like, the writers decided to make him Uncle Ben's killer, and therefore that is canon, and therefore we have to live with that.
Doesn't mean it's not stupid.
No, you're right, but it also doesn't mean that he's not important. He's very important. I mean, with that decision, with that,
you not hear all the stuff I was laying out about Doc Ock being again like kind of Peter's hope, again the whole symbol of what Spider-Man 2 is about, again putting what you want aside again for the greater,
which is a big keystone of that one movie, but not necessarily the trilogy.
He forgets about, first of all, so harken back to a point you made earlier. Okay, Spider-Man didn't kill. I'm sorry. Let me rephrase that. Sorry. Was going to make the point that he didn't kill the original guy, but again he kind of fell to his death. But you weren't making the original point, so against fine. So anyway, sorry, you were going.
Okay, I mean, like I said, I really do feel like with Sandman, there is a lot of stuff that's redeeming about him. I do really like the effects. I like Thomas Hayden Church's performance.
And I like Alfred Molina's performance a lot.
Give
And
me
your whole character's motivation, the
guys.
whole empathetic thing about your character is entirely, it's a second-rate version of the likability of Doc. Like, their character was a response. The character work that went into Flint Marko is all derivative of Doc Ock and kind of the likability and the sympathy for that character. Only it's a lot more worse and a lot more excusable. Why didn't Flint Marko just look for a job before he went to rob banks and and killed Uncle Ben? Why couldn't he? There's a whole slew of things wrong with the Sandman. He just goes for this team up with Venom just because. I mean, he's not even giving him money or anything. He's like, there's tons of stuff missing from his story. If you're arguing forgiveness for the whole trilogy, again, if Spider-Man thought that the whole matter was settled, there's no forgiveness in the whole trilogy. It's forgiveness within that one movie for that event that happened.
Fucking beautiful storytelling, Dragon. If you don't like that scene, then you don't like humanity.
If I don't like they're saying if I don't like the end scene?
Yeah, I'm saying if you don't like the scene where Spider-Man forgives Flint Marko, then you are like literally.
I've done terrible things too. Well, if you really
like
want to look at the terrible things that he's done, yes, he hit Mary Jane, which is very bad and unfortunate. But again, he snaps out of it right then and there. If you want to look at the terrible things he's done, well, let's see. Well, he stopped the man who killed his uncle, which again, thank goodness he came back. So therefore, bad thing undone. You want to see? Let's see, Eddie Brock frames Spider-Man for a crime that he didn't commit, kind of poisoning his name in New York after everyone just got to liking him, fixes that right up. Harry Osborn tried to kill him earlier on. Harry Osborn did all this terrible stuff with Mary Jane and stuff. He threatened her even. It was threatening to kill her and kill Peter. Why Mary Jane bought into that, we'll never know, but still.
Just
Impressive!
All right, guys.
oh, man.
Impressive showdown here. Impressive final showdown.
Yeah, it was very evenly matched.
Well, I heard a lot of the same stuff, mostly coming from the Sandman's birth. That's most of what I heard from the Sandman. His only strong point. That's what I was getting from that. Jacob, where are you leaning with this?
Honestly, Dragon, I'm surprised you never mentioned Doc Ock's wife.
Yeah, me too.
Wait, didn't I? No, I guess I didn't. Well, I said tragedy, but you're right. I didn't specify by name. Sorry. Yeah,
Rosie!
Rosie!
That's actually what I was thinking about when you mentioned the tragic scene. Like, not the hospital scene where he's screaming no, because even I admit that is kind of, looking back, that is actually kind of goofy, but still works for his character.
Yeah, I mean,
I just thought you were going to talk about how he almost inadvertently caused his wife's death.
Yeah, I mean, even I forgot about the hospital scene. I thought you were talking about his wife's death. You could have touched on that. Jacob, who are you leaning on with as far as his choice goes?
I mean, I will say I'm honestly surprised how much mileage Tiki was able to get out of Sandman.
Yeah, me too.
I mean, it's definitely more than you could have gotten out of Venom or New Goblin, that's for sure.
No. I could have gotten a lot more out of Harry Osborn.
What about Venom? What about Venom, though?
Osborn legitimately has a trilogy's worth of stuff.
He does. Oh, sorry, Jacob.
How would you have done with Venom, though?
Venom, you're right. I probably couldn't have done better with Venom. I really couldn't have.
Yeah, well, I guess you guys both did admirable jobs, and I guess Tiki, you probably got the most out of Sandman that you could. But at the end of the day, it does boil down strength arguments, and admittedly, it was kind of an unfair advantage, but definitely. But let's just say Doc Ock's kind of the Frollo of this franchise.
Oh God.
Well, yeah, I'm gonna go with Doc Ock as well. That may not be a surprise, but hey, it's not too late for Tiki to make a comeback here.
Like I said, let's face it, he's basically the Frollo of this franchise. I mean, somehow Dragon always ends up with the Frollo characters.
Sorry. Oh, that's fine. There's still a chance for Tiki to come back here. We've got 5 speed round questions. Currently, Dragon stands with 2 points. Tiki has 1.
Just to clarify, there's not like we're playing to 5 points. Like there could be more than 5 speed round questions.
Yes, I do have a lot more. Yes.
Yeah.
I have 10 total speed run questions.
Oh boy. Okay. I'm just gonna go ahead and flip the coin because I want to be put out of my misery as soon as possible. So let's.
What are you calling?
Yeah. I thought. All right. Woo!
So now Tiki's off the board?
Yeah.
Yep.
And Dragon, are you gonna flip?
No.
No. Okay. Okay. No.
All right.
That was an easy decision.
All right.
Dragon, you need 3 points. Tiki needs 5.
Sandy, do you need the coin for any of the speed round questions by any chance?
Like, are arguing perspective or anything like any like this or that or something?
Most of these, I'd say a chunk of these are basically listen very, very closely. You know, you want to have ears like a cat.
I'm just asking if I should keep the flip a coin tab open or not, Sandy.
Keep it open just in case, but
okay.
You want to have ears like a cat, as Mr. Djikovich said, because some of these are, I'm going to read them out, and you're just going to call out for the one you want. We'll get into that in a little.
Hey, what was it? Was it ears like a cat and like eyes like a rodent? Was that it?
They have ears like a cat and eyes like a rodent.
Yeah.
Okay. So
should we go to the comments section?
Oh, well, yeah. I checked the comments out. There was a comment saying Ock is better because he has more to him than just one scene, and Twilight Zone said that. And yeah, more or less, that's pretty much what I got out of the arguments.
And D. Hindley says Dragon sounds like Nick Offerman.
What? And I said Dragon sounds like Noir because you do. You sound like
He really does.
Like Dragon say we don't pick the ball and we just dance.
We don't pick the ballrooms. We just dance.
No, Dragon. I think if you were to make if you were to like redub all of his scenes, I don't think anyone would notice.
I really
don't. Okay, so speedrun question time.
And Dragon, that is stop your scowling. That's meant to be a compliment.
Yeah, that is a compliment.
Oh yeah, that's a very big compliment. Are you guys ready for these?
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah. Okay. First question. Spider-Verse has a very beautiful yet unfamiliar musical style for a superhero movie. If you could choose between these two composers to score the next Spider-Verse movie, who would you choose and why? Okay, listen closely. All right, first come, first serve. All right, John Williams or Alan Silvestri?
Silvestri. I picked Silvestri first.
Let's flip a coin.
That's up to the judges to decide, Dragon.
We can flip the coin. Is the coin still up? We can flip on it.
Are you down for that, Dragon?
I think I said it first, but again, Sandy's call.
I think I said it first, frankly.
Well, of course we both think we said it.
I heard it at the exact same time.
You think you said it first, so
I heard it at the exact same time. I can't make it.
I heard Dragon first, but I'll go with the coin flip.
All right, Tails. Dragon gets it. Heads. Tiki gets it.
Okay.
All right. Dragon gets it.
Dragon gets Silvestri.
Okay.
Also means I'm going first.
Yes. You'll get 30 seconds. Then what's it? No, is it 15 seconds?
30,
15
seconds.
Seconds.
30, then 15.
30, then okay.
Unless you want to do something else, it's your call.
No, 30, then 15. That's what it's going to be.
All right. You're going to use the same impressive flip.
Yes, I will. Well, yeah, I can use that. Yeah.
I'm saying whatever you want to use. I just want to know what I'm listening for. That's all.
It'll be something.
All right, something. Okay. Okay. Can I have the question repeated real quick so I just get all the specifics?
Who should score the next Spider-Verse movie, Alan Silvestri or John Williams, and why?
Alan Silvestri is how Marvel should sound. Alan Silvestri is one of the great composers. Of course, I could list out a myriad of things that he's done: Lilo and Stitch, Back to the Future, the Avengers films. Why wouldn't, again, the day and age we're kind of blending all the Marvel things anyway? Why wouldn't we bring Silvestri in for Spider-Verse? It'd be great. We give some gravitas. Again, depending on how big the next story is, that would probably be befitting. But even if it's not, we could have kind of more kind of a Lilo and Stitch direction with it. We could have kind of like a more soothing, kind of quieter story. Points. I think Silvestri's got this covered, and we have like a great name behind it. And Perfect. Oh my God! For Out of Time, that's perfect, Sandy. Yes.
Hold it.
Jacob.
I think we're Spider like some kind of like
He's
alternate.
glitching out.
Yeah, he's glitching.
Someone get the goober.
Okay.
We'll wait for him to come back, or just let Tiki go.
Did he leave? Oh no, Jacob.
Well, he's coming back momentarily, but still we can't do with that. We need him to hear the thing. So.
Wow, that was a assortment of weirdness.
Sorry, guys, the Spider-Verse is glitching on me.
Yep. All right.
All right. So, Alan Silvestri, I think Alan Silvestri is how the MCU should sound, not necessarily how Marvel should sound. He's got that one great score with the Avengers, but frankly, that's kind of all I know him for. John Williams has such a distinct track record for him. He's just legendary in the industry, and I still think he has what it takes to do this. And more importantly, he's done a versatile amount of styles, and I think that versatile amount of styles could result in a very versatile soundtrack.
All right.
Wonderful.
Okay. Is there one? I think there is one more for each.
Yeah, we both have 15 seconds now, so I go then.
15-second rebuttal.
Okay.
Yeah.
After you, Dragon.
Well, for starters, I think John Williams is technically retired because he stopped doing the Star Wars movies. But aside from that, look, Silvestri, again, I think if we're talking about like dimension hopping and time traveling, Silvestri Back to the Future is our guy. I mean, why wouldn't we go to him? Again, let's not just say he can only do the Avengers sound. Again, the guy's obviously a great composer. Let's see what else he can do with Marvel.
Out of your mind.
Dragon got a win over even as it started, so I think we should give Tiki like two extra seconds.
Okay.
Okay.
You okay with that, Dragon?
Well, no, but we'll see what Sandy's called.
We kind of did talk a bit after the timer.
All right, well, it's fine. It just doesn't matter.
Give me 16 seconds. I'm fine with 16 seconds.
I mean, you can have two. Don't be proud over 2 seconds. Take the 2 seconds. I don't care.
Well, I guess it's up to Sandy, but
Well, I mean, sure, but obviously it's Sandy's call.
It's 2 seconds. Come on, doesn't matter.
All right. Oh man. Okay. Just
take the 2 seconds. It's okay.
Yeah, for sure. All right. So that's straight.
Head in hand once in 2 seconds.
John Williams is retired from Star Wars, but he's not retired from movies in general, as far as I know. And I just think Alan Silvestri is just a little too repetitious. I feel like John Williams has a more versatile track record under his belt.
Who's out, Gobby? Out of your mind.
Right now I'm kicking myself because I know a point that I should have made, but I went first, so I couldn't make that point. So I'm kicking myself right now. Something.
All right. Well, reel in, Jacob. What do you think?
my random fact is that it'd be kind of interesting to bring him in, considering John Williams actually composed the score to the original Superman movie, so he actually has his hand in doing superhero stuff. So
yeah, absolutely.
That's a good point. I wish I would have made that point.
Yeah, I agree with that. That's another great point. I didn't think of that one.
It's like another extremely iconic film.
Damn it. That's a really good point, Jacob.
Yeah, we both had things we should have said, but again.
Yeah.
And I Honestly, you guys both made very good points. Very good points regarding this. I mean, obviously, Tiki couldn't elaborate on the whole repetition aspect, considering he only had 15 seconds. But I mean, like technically, John Williams does have more notable scores as a whole than Alan Silvestri does. But there is a reason why Alan Silvestri was brought back into Infinity War and Endgame, because his score for Captain America and Avengers was so good. But I think honestly, I mean, Sandy might weigh a bit differently, but honestly, I think Tiki had the advantage of going last, and I think he took apart some of the Alan Silvestri points. Honestly, I mean, you might agree, you might think differently, Sandy. It's ultimately up to you, but I'm leaning towards Tiki for this one.
Alan Silvestri's score for the recent MCU projects, or I guess the Avengers theme in particular, it never struck me as something that you would stick out, throughout the course of superhero history as something that would, be remembered as something really, really great, compared to something like Danny Elfman, who created just that iconic, like, classic Spider-Man theme for the Raimi movies. So we don't know what John Williams could do. There's a lot of potential for him. Obviously, I mean, I think that goes without saying, but yeah, I'm gonna have to go with John Williams.
All right, 1 to 3, playing to 5.
So, Dragon, what was the thing you were thinking about saying?
Oh yeah, so I was thinking about again. Basically, there's no way this ever could have worked for me, but again, having heard Tiki's point just kind of gave me a light bulb. Like, oh, I should have said that with the repetition, where I would have brought up that John Williams has it basically almost has somewhat of an Elfman problem, where he has themes that sound there. He pulls a lot of old themes out when he does movies, so there's the repetition for you, like something like that.
I mean, technically, Jaws is somewhat inspired by Bambi.
That's what I'm saying. Well, that's a better example, but it's like, I would have been saying like, the themes, they use the theme in Superman they used in Raiders, or vice versa. They use the theme in Superman they used in Raiders, and Star Wars actually. He basically this one theme of John Williams kind of snuck in the 3 movies technically, so that's what I would have at least tried to. It was within 15 seconds. I don't know how far I would have gotten with it, but that's what I would have tried to do.
So let me get this straight. Tiki has 1 point. Dragon has 2. Correct?
3.
Yes.
No,
Wait,
2.
Dragon is 3.
2.
Oh wait, no, I'm sorry, 2. I got that wrong. I'm sorry.
Okay, well, did the comments wait? Well, it doesn't matter. I'm still gonna be outvoted. I mean, did the comments say anything nice about me?
No, a lot of them are going on about my glitchiness earlier.
Anything good?
Although Twilight Zone says I don't have any musical preferences, so my vote is for no soundtrack. It would be groundbreaking.
Wow, I've only seen that done once, and I've only seen that done once, and it was only for like a 3rd act of something.
No Country for Old Men didn't have a soundtrack.
Man, you're right. Why didn't I think of that?
Okay, here's the second speed round question. Okay. Which Raimi character? This is much like the first one. Just call it out as soon as you hear it. Which Raimi character would be more deserving of their own movie? Mr. Dickovich or Mr. Aziz?
Dickovich.
Again, really?
I think I said it first.
I think I also said it first because I think I actually said it
Oh
first.
my god.
All right. Let's just be fair. Dragon got to go first last time.
Right, because that's on the sure.
All right, can you just remind me who the other character even is?
Mr. The pizza
guy. All right.
Go.
Parker, you're fired. All right. So Tiki has Dickovich.
No, well, wait. Who has? That's the thing. Who has?
Let's flip the coin.
Yeah, I agree. We need to.
I'm a betting man. I think I know who this is going to.
I feel like the judges need to like actually make some definitive calls here because all of the, especially if these are going to be formatted like this, like we need to like.
I'm gonna call
Like,
heads
I
for
guess
Dickovich.
like I said, like I said last time, I think Dragon came first. I think this time I actually heard Tiki first.
Sandy,
I really don't know. You know, I keep hearing them at the same time, literally.
oh my
It's gonna be a long speed round.
god.
Okay, just flip the coin. Tails it's Dragon, heads it's Tiki.
No, I heard Dragon call heads, so I'll give him heads.
Okay.
Ha!
Okay.
All right.
All right.
This
Tiki's
could be
got
part of an
Dickovich.
elaborate plan, Tiki. Beware.
Knowing you, that's entirely possible.
But, guys, by the way, almost all the speedrun questions, I think all of them are like this, like formatted like this.
Yeah, you told us this
Whoa.
earlier. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking back through them again. All right. Tiki's got Dickovich. Dragon's got Mr. Aziz.
But Tiki's going first.
Watch out, it'll pull a noir on you, Tiki.
Mr. Dickovich is that lovable landlord who's a dick, but you love him and he loves you back if you pay the rent. And I think that would just make such a great movie. Oh my god. I mean, you could have this all-star cast of characters living up in this apartment. It could be a Wes Anderson movie. It could be an ensemble. Dickovich could just be like the main centerpiece of the story. And it would be all about how he's not such a tough guy on the outside.
Avenge me. Okay. Sorry, that really sucked. Sorry, the thing wouldn't load, so I had to just.
Well, just tell me this. Were you trying to play a Dickovich quote? Were you trying to play?
No, I was trying to say, trying to play "Don't Tell Harry."
Don't tell Harry about this Mr. Dickovich movie. Don't tell him. I don't want to see it. It's the wrong kind of pie. He wants pizza. It's about. Oh, forget it. Never mind.
All right, Dragon, you're up.
All right, imagine this. Imagine Premium Rush, but with a pizza delivery guy, like with Mr. Z's. We have a guy just trying to make it in the business. Again, he's hired a new delivery guy, and a lot of the hinges on the place. We could maybe splash a little bit of "Do the Right Thing" in there. Again, it could be really interesting. We could have again like kind of a failing pizza business because we know every delivery counted. Hence the whole Peter Parker getting fired of it all. Again, there might be some genuine stakes with this pizza place, kind of like in Do the Right Thing, where again the whole thing hinged on like whether this pizza place is going to get torn down or not, and again like kind of like have a riot kind of within the place, and maybe not a riot, but still something of that kind, where we have stakes attached to kind of an eatery everyone loves. Nice.
Although that would have been more appropriate to play at the beginning of that.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, you're right. It would have, wouldn't it? Okay, I'll do that next time. I'm liking where these arguments are going, though. I really am.
All right.
Okay, Tiki, you're up.
So the question is deserved, and frankly, I think Mr. Dickovich is much more memorable, much more beloved. There's plenty of memes about him. With the other guy, the only meme is the go thing. He's only in one scene. I just think Dickovich would make a better movie.
Shoot, avenge me. Okay. Sorry. I was trying to get Dickovich up here. I couldn't. All right.
You have rent?
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah, you should have used that. Oh man, that would have been great.
Rent?
My daughter bakes cookies.
That's a good one. All right, anyway, let me get back to it. What if we saw the story behind Go? That's basically what I'm pitching here. We have Go, and we also have, again, like, if you want to raise kind of like iconography here, Spider-Man stole that guy's pizza. Again, you don't have that without Mr. Aziz. Again, you have a lot of, there's a lot of fun there. You can always do like an original raise war going on. There's a lot of fun.
Get your rent when you fix this damn door.
Nice pull. Nice pull. Really nice.
This might be one of my all-time favorite speed round questions.
It's a fun one. I don't think it's going my way, but it's a fun one. I don't know. We'll see.
Oh, God.
Okay. Tiki, do you still have one more turn left, or is
No.
no?
This is
Okay.
the
I
rebuttal.
finished it off, so then I guess you have to deliberate.
Jacob, where are you leaning here?
Oh, jeez. I mean, it's only for the sake of humor. I don't know who to go with. Although technically, I would love to see a story of an apartment full of superheroes. I mean, that'd be actually a really cool story. But he didn't elaborate much on that. And of course, Go the Mr. Aziz.
Whoa!
Go the Mr. Aziz story.
Oh,
Jeez.
yeah. Can you imagine? Go a Spider-Man story.
or the more marketable version of it, Spider-Man Go.
Or
Yes,
what about
Spider-Man Go? Yeah.
or Pizza Time, a Spider-Man story?
You know, like those Temple Run games. Oh, I'm sorry. That's unfair. I can't.
Well, there actually kind of is a Temple Run-esque Spider-Man game.
Yeah, sorry. That's what I was. Sorry, Tig. That's what I was. But they don't factor into the deliberation.
I'm not trusting. I mean, honestly, for the sake of the whole humor and the stretchiness of it, I kind of want to give it to Dragon. Like I said, Sandy, this one's up to you.
I think I'm gonna have to go with Dragons. I think, yeah, because it's just the idea of a Mr. Aziz movie is it's completely absurd. It never happened. I think Dragon really he knew that he was kind of in the lackluster category. He took whatever he could, he ran with it, and it turned out pretty good for what the material was based on. I like the apartment idea, Tiki. I think it's just a little bit too close and not original enough. I think that's where I'm leaning more with Dragons.
Fair enough.
It's a lot more
However, I
original.
would like to see the Dickovich movie, by the way. Just a little
Yeah,
bit.
so
I'd
would
like to
I.
see both of them, but honestly, if they're both.
Like I said, I'd like to see a superhero apartment story.
That's what I'd love to see it for a Fantastic Four movie. Just done a lot better than that one sequence in Fantastic Four 2005. That's what I'd like to see.
All right, so Dragon has 3. I have 1.
It's just shaping up to be an interesting speed round so far. Let's
All
see.
right.
All right, guys, listen closely. All right, listen closely.
Another quick draw.
Next question, okay?
Tiki, you about to say something?
No, I'm just saying. I seriously don't want another flip a coin on this.
Yeah,
one.
neither do I.
Do a decision.
I'll listen closely. All right.
All right.
If Thomas Hayden Church or Willem Dafoe had to reprise their roles for either the MCU or a Spider-Verse movie, who would you choose and why?
Thomas Hayden Church.
Okay, well, that's pretty easy to decipher. Who talked first? Dragon, you've got Goblin. Tiki's got Church. Okay.
So in the MCU.
Okay.
Or Spider-Verse.
So Osborn.
Hold on.
Yeah, what was your choice, Tiki? Spider-Verse or MCU?
Well, I think it should just be MCU.
Okay. All right. So Osborn in the MCU and Church in the MCU. Okay. All right. Go ahead, Dola.
I just think that Norman Osborn is too big of a character to go on gimmick stunt casting like that. If you, again, based on like the Leonardo DiCaprio argument, Willem Dafoe is going to be too big of a draw. He's going to be too big of like, oh my god, they got the original guy. And frankly, I think they need someone who's going to lead an entire saga of the MCU. And with that in mind, I think Thomas Hayden Church, the Sandman, is a lot smaller of a role, so it would be way less noticeable to just slip him in there.
Oh God. Okay, real quick, Sandy, I just want you to specify one thing for him before I go here. Okay.
Yeah.
They have to be their characters, correct? They have to be Green Goblin, Sandman.
Yes, that's a part of the deal.
Good. Just want to be absolutely certain. Thank you.
Okay.
Why not play into it? It hasn't been done yet. We've been waiting for the big, not stunt cast. We're waiting for the big call of like, hey, there's the iconic character from that trilogy, and why? Let's cast the shackles off, man. Let's just put the big names in there. People have a love or attachment to, and let's just celebrate them. Put them in there. And let's treat the audience like they're not babies. Like they don't have to be spoon fed. Let's just walk them through there and say, hey guys, look. It's Dafoe, you know who he's played. Let's just throw him in there as Norman Osborn / the Green Goblin because it's fun. We haven't done Norman Osborn yet. He could bring kind of a new take to the character, but it's that old familiar face, but bring in it in a way he hasn't brought it before. Nice.
All right, that was a long time in coming. Okay, I'm just gonna. Okay. Yeah.
Hold on,
Tyler.
I have one more left.
Yeah, I know.
Okay. Dragon, you keep on saying throw him in there, and honestly, I think Norman Osborn's too big of a role to throw in there. He's going to be probably the new Thanos if all goes well. And I feel like the new Thanos needs a little bit more than just stunt casting in order to work right.
Okay.
I love Franco's no!
I'm not saying stunt casting, Tiki. You're the one who's saying stunt casting. You want to throw Thomas Hayden Church as the Sandman in there in a really small bit part. I'm saying, why don't we do something new with Norman Osborn? Norman Osborn's like the Lex Luthor of the MCU. Let's do that. And let's put him in a main role. I'm saying, yeah, let's go in that Thanos direction. What's wrong with that? Let's do it and let's appreciate it.
Yeah, I have to say, I'm not too big a fan of the Sandman having specifically Thomas Hayden Church coming back for such a small part in the same character. That I feel that be kind of it. Like I said, was talking before, it take people out of the movie. It would de-immerse you, I guess, if that's even a word. Where if you have Dafoe come back to play Osborn, even if he's not the Goblin, he plays Osborn. But it's a new take on the Osborn character. I think it has a bigger role. I think that would work really well because people like Dafoe as Osborn. You know, he can be a little bit cheesy, but he plays the role really, really well. So I think, that's where I'm leaning. Where are you leaning, Jacob?
So I kind of like how Dragon pulled a reversal, used Tiki's argument against him.
Yeah.
It's just gonna be like a Thanos casting, and it's like, yeah, why the heck not? He embraced that argument and made it his own.
All right. What do the comments say, Jacob?
Let's see. There's no comment. The most recent comment is D. Henley saying Tiki rules, but that was for a few comments ago. So I don't think there's any recent comments regarding this particular.
All right. Dragon gets the point then.
Right, so that's, what is that, 4?
4-1.
Right.
I'm gonna have to win. I'm gonna have to win 4 in a row.
Very well.
Crazier things have happened.
I mean, remember, Tiki. There have been times where I've had nothing and I've still pulled off a victory with just speed round questions.
Right.
So it's entirely possible.
We'll see what happens.
Okay. All right. Listen closely, guys. Okay. Which villain should be given a second chance for the MCU?
Doc Ock.
No. Let me finish.
Sorry,
finish.
darn it. Sorry, yeah, you're right. I'm sorry.
Pay close attention here.
Right.
Lizard or Electro?
Lizard.
Lizard.
I heard Dragon first.
You know what? I'll let Tiki. If it's all right, I'd like to let Tiki.
That's fine. That's fine.
All right.
So, at the cut, Dragon still gets to go first, though.
Really? Okay, I mean, that's fine. I just want to make sure.
I mean, you technically did say, or unless you want to have Tiki go first.
No, I'll go first. I mean, unless Dragon really wants to go first.
No, Tiki, by all means, go first if it's allowed.
Okay.
Well, yeah, okay, Tiki, you go first with a lizard, and Dragon has Electro.
Okay, I've honestly never been a huge fan of Electro, and the Lizard is like a quintessential like legacy character of Spider-Man. You want to talk about a character that has a personal relationship with Peter Parker? There might not be one that's as prominent as the relationship that Peter Parker has with Kurt Connors when it's done right and when it's not piss poor like the Amazing Spider-Man was. Electro is just kind of a lame villain all around, and I don't think that the Amazing Spider-Man like it didn't really make him any more or less lame.
I'm trying to place where that's from. That's I'm trying to remember.
That's
Is that from Spider-Verse?
That's the Avenge Me Sparta remix.
Oh God! I'm trying to look at where that was from them. God darn it! Anyway. It was like a behind-the-scenes music feature for Rebo. It was like, remix.
Honestly, that wouldn't be surprised me if Spider-Verse did pull something like that, knowing Lord Miller.
Yep.
I mean, look, Lord didn't like Spider-Verse was chock full of acknowledgement to online Spider-Man culture, so it wouldn't surprise me if they would do that. All right, Dragon. Sorry about my tangent.
With the exception of the family, we hit all the Kurt Connors beats in Amazing Spider-Man. But let me tell you about Electro. Electro didn't get a fair shake at it, right? Electro went off the rails. They stunk at it. They didn't go right. Electro, here's the take you do in the MCU. You make it a kid. Electro, in his beginnings, he built kind of a suit that directed the electricity, much like the web shooter. What if we kind of had a young guy in the suit that kind of would parallel Peter Parker? They geek out while they're fighting. It's like, oh, man, we worked that yourself? Yeah, they're kind of these two bright, smart kids. One's on the wrong side of the law. They have kind of a fun banter, like kind of Spider-Man kind of running across them every now and again, kind of like a report, kind of a regular villain.
Cold shiver running down your spine.
Nice.
Man, why does he have so many good quotes?
Everybody has good quotes in the.
It's not even from a good scene, but it's a good quote.
They all have good quotes.
Oops, hold on. Darn it. Sorry, guys. I'm kind of having trouble with the clock here. It's kind of lagging. Sorry. Hold on.
And while we wait, do you want me to go to the comments, see what they're saying?
Let me reset one more time, and I think I'm good to go.
All right.
Hold on.
All right, should I say the comments or should I wait?
Just wait 1 sec, because I'm just gonna about to start. I'm just need to get refocused on my argument. Let's see.
Do you remember what it was?
I'm trying to get there, Sandy.
I think your last thing was. Is it okay if I help Dragon? Like help him or jog his memory?
No.
Okay. I was referring like seeing if it's okay to help you or jog your memory, but I won't help anybody then.
Shoot.
You really don't remember, Tiki? It was like 5 seconds ago.
I'm sorry.
That's all right. I mean, I'm just concerned because you've got one chance.
Can you repeat the question?
Yeah. Which Spider-Man villain should be given a second chance in the MCU? Lizard.
Oh,
or
Lizard.
Mysterio?
Okay, I got it. Okay, right. I've got it. I'm sorry. All right. Frankly, I don't think anything was done with the Lizard in the Amazing Spider-Man. He hardly had a relationship with Peter Parker. Yes, we didn't see his family, which was a pivotal part of that. And what you're pitching just sounds like more MCU, like it's another kid in a superhero role.
We killed them.
Okay. So Dragon has one more, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Go ahead, Dragon.
The Lizard got a fair shake, right? Electro did not. I'm saying, well, it's not just be another kid in a superhero suit. Again, it's going to be a kid on the wrong side of the law. You're going to bring kind of the regular Spider-Man villain goes up against like the Shocker, like it's on the Spider-Man games. He has these villains he kind of comes across. We can do that with Electro, kind of make him fun, but also science kind of practical and a reflection of Spider-Man.
Okay. Where are you leaning, Jacob? What do you think?
The comment, as far as the comments go, Donovan Martin's voting for Lizard and Twilight Zone as Electro.
Okay, so it's kind of tied there too. What do you think?
Honestly, I think if combining the two arguments, I think actually Tiki made more of a point for Lizard. Like mentioning, I mean, don't get me wrong, I actually did like the Amazing Spider-Man movies, but I will concede on that regard that they didn't really show much of they didn't really use much of Kurt Connor's family as a crux of his character.
Yeah, because the question was which villain deserves a second chance, because they both had a fair run at displaying their talents as villains, but they weren't exactly they couldn't reach their full potential. So I think Tiki made the better point of saying, explaining why the Lizard / Kurt Connors would deserve a second chance. Dragon, I heard a bit of a pitch in there, and that's wasn't quite what the question was. I was sorry, I'm getting pretty stuffy here. I'm gonna have to go with Tiki because you were saying because just going back to the Raimi films for a reference, because Peter and Kurt Connors had a pretty good relationship in those the last two movies. That relationship was pretty strong, and I would have liked to see where that would have gone if
Dylan Baker.
Yeah.
Dylan Baker ever got was having a character named after him in Serenity.
Of course you bring up this. Dylan Baker's actually a good actor. Can we just focus on that before we're going to? And his name's literally in Serenity. Can we stop going to Serenity well? With poor Dylan Baker. That's just
I will never stop going to the Serenity well.
I'm saying with Dylan Baker, the poor man suffered enough,
All right, so the point goes to Tiki then.
All right, 2-4. I got this, guys.
All right, let me just pull up the questions again. All right. All right, this one's pretty broad. All right, which Spider-Man movie universe is the best?
Raimi.
All right, so here's the thing. So if I go with the MCU, that would include just all the Spider-Man appearances within the MCU. I mean, that would
include everything. Yeah.
Okay, then I go with the MCU then.
Okay. All right. Cheeky, Rick, go right ahead.
So the MCU clearly has a lot more going on. It's clearly a lot more jam-packed, but the Raimi trilogy is just so perfect in terms of capturing the essence that is Spider-Man. You have the pitch-perfect J. Jonah Jameson. You have the spot-on tone. You have the boyish earnestness of Tobey Maguire that I honestly think captures the tone of the character more than Tom Holland, even though Tom Holland's the appropriate age. You just got it all with the Tobey Maguire Spider-Mans.
Stop!
It's a little bit late. I'm sorry.
Ironically enough.
I'm just gonna shout "Avenge me" from now on. I'm sick of looking up clips.
Fair enough, Andy.
Okay. All right. Go right ahead, Dragon.
The MCU is doing it smarter and more economically. They're using their burst of Spider-Man to the max, providing things we haven't seen before, economizing the introduction of Spider-Man within Civil War. We kind of have big progression. We saw him become an Avenger. We've seen him just kind of as in the high school years, as well as dealing with the Vulture and kind of we worked on a lot of multiple Spider-Man villains, a lot better than Spider-Man 3 did. Where Spider-Man 3 is technically 2 movies put together, and they crammed everything in. MCU is doing it smarter, and they're kind of using the fact that they're using universe more than more of a trilogy than what the Raimi had done. Again, he didn't even intend on doing a trilogy, but it kind of ended up that way.
Avenge me, Harry.
Yeah. What version of Gabi is that? It's like is that the is that the Hobgoblin? Did Macho Man Bonesaw become Hobgoblin? We never knew about it.
Yes, that's exactly what happened.
Don't tell Harry Bonesaws is dead all along.
Oh man.
That totally makes sense.
Bonesaw likes pie too.
No, Bonesaw's the waitress.
Oh,
No, I've always wanted to see Bonesaw at Harry's funeral. For some reason, I've always wanted.
You know,
to
it's
see
funny. They actually tried to do that.
Really?
Well, technically, the thing is, they wanted to get all the characters. They want to get all the characters.
Guys, we're at 2 hours right now, so
way to demystify everything. Go on.
I'm sorry. I'm just saying.
All right.
Jeez. Okay.
Okay, frankly, I really don't like the way that the MCU is handling Spider-Man. They're making him way too comic reliefy. There's not a lot of pathos to him. Yes, I know there's the I don't want to go thing, but there's no mention of Uncle Ben at all, which is an insult.
All right, Dragon. Oh, avenge me. I'm sorry.
Or are they saving the Uncle Ben moment for something really special? Like, how do you top just kind of killing him off with a snap? It's like we're going to bring up the Uncle Ben stuff a little down the line. Beyond that, again, I feel there are heavy moments in there. Again, like the whole he crumbled and lifting the rocks, the big amazing 33 moment. Again, there's a lot of depth there.
Avenge me. Okay. I know where I'm going with this. This has nothing to do with bias because I like the Raimi movies more.
Yeah.
Just throwing that out the window. What the Raimi movies have that the MCU currently does not, and this could change, but what they currently do not have is growth for this character. They have growth, but it's not in exactly the way that that we can relate to as an audience. We see Peter in the first Spider-Man movie. We see him learn with great power comes great responsibility. Then he has to give that responsibility up in the second movie, which he then gains it back when he realizes just how much, just how important it is to everyone around him and to himself. And then we see everything that goes down in Spider-Man 3, which, for the better or worse, we see him forgive his uncle's killer and everything like that. So, Tiki made the argument that it's an insult to not include Uncle Ben in the MCU.
Which I honestly don't really agree with. I mean, he's not really.
I'm not going to go as far to say it's an insult because we've already seen what's happened with we already know what happens to Uncle Ben, and we're just assuming that they're just not talking about it.
I mean, it's almost like mentioning Batman's parents dying all over again. It's not necessary.
It's similar, yeah. Yeah, I guess similar. I'm gonna have to go with I'm sorry, I'm getting tired here. I'm gonna have to go with Tiki's. It has that story arc that the MCU currently does not, and it doesn't look like they're gonna have it on the same kind of level.
All right, 3 to 4.
Can I just say?
What's your answer? I'm sorry.
Would Spider-Verse have been a viable option?
I
mean, because technically there's only one movie in it.
Yeah, I mean, you don't really have a whole bunch of material to work with, so I'd probably say, I guess it would be, but it's not a very likely chance you're going to be winning that. Anyways,
I mean, technically, I guess technically, it's only just one movie so far, so it probably wouldn't have been viable.
Yeah, probably on the border there. Anyways, Tiki gets to the point.
4 to 3.
Okay. Here's the next question. All right, listen up closely. Who would have made a better Peter B. Parker in Spider-Verse? Okay. Toby or Andrew?
Toby.
Toby.
It was definitely Tiki who said that one first.
Yeah. Wow. Jeez Louise. Okay. All right.
Honestly, we'd have more questions where they can just pick a question for themselves instead of picking just two people.
Yeah, I
agree, Sandy.
What
that
a
should be
novel concept.
Do you want me to pick another one here?
No, like just have them like pick an actor who could play Spider-Man. Who would they recast as
well,
Peter?
No, I mean it's like I feel like it should just be a note for next time. I feel like we need to just kind of roll with what we're given this time.
Okay.
I mean, it's kind of too late to just sort of like change the format around right now.
All right. All right. So Tiki, go ahead.
Okay. Tobey Maguire is the quintessential Spider-Man, even more so than Tom Holland is. He's just got that boyish charm to him. He's got the heart. He's got the earnestness. And I just think, he is Spider-Man. And not to mention, there'd be that age gap. He is 40s now. Andrew Garfield is I'm not going to say he's a hack because he's a good actor, but his Peter Parker is just a joke. There's a reason why those movies are so forgettable. Yeah.
Avenge me. All right, Dragon, go ahead.
With Andrew Garfield in the Peter B. Parker role, you do have a great kind of subtextual gag there. We have Andrew Garfield. You could comment on Andrew Garfield being let go from the whole Spider-Man 3 kerfuffle. You could have that worked into the plot, into the narrative as kind of like another level. It'd be a lot of fun. But, again, even as an inside joke or as a rewrite, you still have a lot to work with there. Beyond that, I think he brings some dimension to the role. Tobey Maguire, again, pretty much say, oh, it's Tobey Maguire, be the same effect as the video games. He can't quip to save his life. Tobey Maguire is not a quipper, and that's a problem. Andrew Garfield, he's perfect in the suit of Spider-Man, so with that mask on, he'll come alive.
Avenge me.
All
right. Okay.
That's kind of like Batman trying to say that.
But Peter B. Parker specifically is not a quipper either, really. He's the least quippy character in that movie, and that's why I think that Tobey Maguire would work so much better. He's so much more mature and aged than Andrew Garfield is.
All right. Dragon.
What do you mean? He's quipping all throughout that movie, like the bagel scene and everything. He's quipping throughout the movie, and you can get to explore a little bit of dimension there. But again, him in the suit, again, embodying what Spider-Man is, but again, the weathered version of Spider-Man. We give Andrew Garfield some range. We get to see where he would go in like an aged Spider-Man. The Spider-Man he wasn't able to play by 3. We could actually explore it here.
Avenge me.
Yeah.
All right. Tiki, you've got. Do you have one last? Because I have one last.
Nope.
No.
That's it. Yeah.
That was the last one.
I'm losing count here. All right. Well.
Set personal bias aside this time, Sandy.
Hold it. Jacob, you glitch. Oh, wait. Maybe you should start us off, Sandy. Yep, still Sandy. Still okay. Thanks. Darn man, Jacob's got to stop visiting our universe. You know, he's got to moderation, man, moderation. Okay, wait, hold. I think we got something. Okay, feeling better
to me.
Oh, there we go.
All right.
Sorry.
So thoughts.
This is a little bit difficult because setting personal biases aside, let's say if Toby or Andrew hadn't played these characters and it was between these two actors, just as actors, who would play this character better?
Toby.
Well,
of course you're gonna say that.
Tiki. I don't know. Andrew Garfield has had quite a. He was in one of your favorite movies, Social Network, wasn't he?
Yeah, I know.
And Mr. Oscar Buzz, he was nominated.
Fair enough.
Did you use your whole Oscar argument? But
all right,
honestly, I'm believing on strength of arguments. I'm going with Dragon personally.
I'm gonna have to go with Tiki.
Oh snap! Thanos snap!
God, man, you beat me by 2 seconds.
Thanos snap. What are the comment? Are there any comments, Jacob?
Not since Lizard deserves a second chance.
Okay, guys, if there's ever a time, if you guys are listening live, if there's ever a time to comment, it's now.
Well, let's pose it to him and see what happens. Let's give him like a few seconds here.
I have a proposition to make as well. Here, if we don't get a comment in the next 20 seconds.
I think, frankly, you should give it to me just so that we can do a head-on-head. Like, all right, this next one's for all the Marvel.
Because I have like the best question I've had, and it's not like the other ones. It's not formatted like the others. Why don't we just give the point to Tiki, and then whoever gets this next point just takes it all. That's how it would go down anyway.
That's all that's going to be anyway.
What?
It's 4-4 now.
What do you mean?
Well, basically, he called that it might go to 4-4. This is basically what Jacob predicted. So now.
Okay, anyone in the comments yet, though? No one in the comments?
Nope.
No, I think
Lizard deserves second chance.
All right.
Lizard deserves a second chance. Okay, well, I've got this next question here, and whoever gets
avenge the Lizard.
Okay, and it's not a quick draw question. You swear on this?
No, I swear on this. Yes. Out of all of the Spider-Man suits we've been introduced to throughout the Raimi movies, the MCU, and the Andrew Garfield movies, which one is the best?
Raimi.
Oh wait, darn it! All right, well, yeah, give him Raimi.
You got to think about this because there are a lot of really great suits. There's a ton of them.
So you got to be specific here. Or do you mean specific?
Can it be expanded beyond movies?
No, it has to be from the movies.
Okay, is Spider-Verse factored into this at all, or is it just
just live action? Yeah.
Okay, it's live action. It's fine.
Because there's already a broad array of suits.
Are we talking main suit or just like how specific are we allowed to go with this?
So, like, if you were to choose Tom Holland, he uses the main suit he used throughout the movie. So, not like Iron Spider or something like that, because we never see that.
We're picking from the main suits, is what you're saying.
Yeah, picking from the main suits. Yeah,
the good old red and blue.
Well, I'm And that said, I'm gonna go with. I'm gonna go Homecoming. The MCU, the main MCU Spider suits. I'm gonna go with Tom Holland suit. Yeah,
the good old red and blue. Between the good old
Raimi, Tyler.
Yep.
Okay. All right. Who was first again?
Tiki was first. He said Raimi. So.
Yeah, Tiki was first. Okay, go ahead, Tiki.
Raimi's look not only solidified Spider-Man on screen, frankly, I feel like it was the perfect culmination of like, yes, this is what a superhero should look like on screen. I feel like Raimi's Spider-Man is as instantly iconic as the Superman as Christopher Reeve's Superman. I really do. And it's got all the detail. It's got all the intricacies. It's got all the webbing. And the MCU Spider-Man just doesn't have as much detail to it. It's just not as intricate.
All right.
Avenge
Dragon.
me.
Avenge me.
Sound like Bruce. You sound like Batman.
Avenge me.
I want to be in the Avengers, but they only let me in the Justice League.
Oh, God.
All right, the MCU suit is not only practical, but it's the only suit in any of the Spider-Man movies that has a story reasoned for it behind. Like, how does a kid from Queens get a suit like that? Get like an extra expert suit? It's like, how do we get that? It's finally explained story-wise. It has something none of the other suits have. It has moving eyes. I mean, talk about detail. Moving eyes. It's basically the suit overall is a blend of the best of Spider-Man over the years. It has the Ditko eyes. It has kind of a John Romita look as well as kind of the Alex Ross look into like kind of the painted Spider-Man look brought into live action. It's a beautiful looking suit.
Avenge me.
Avenge me. Yeah. Avenge me. Yeah.
The heck is that?
It's that's one of those scrubby New Yorkers from the first Spider-Man movie who hate Spider-Man.
Right.
Yeah, avenge me. Yeah, avenge me. I hate Spider-Man. Yeah.
I don't recall that, but okay.
I know what he's going for.
I'm
He
lost.
stinks, and I don't like him.
There you go. Now that I reckon.
That's what he's going for, essentially.
Yeah, some kind of freaking little something wackadoo.
Wackadoo. You knew that really well, Sandy.
The Raimi movies definitely had their odd moments.
All right, Tiki, go ahead.
Okay, can we talk about Karen? Karen is one of the most awful additions to Spider-Man ever because she basically makes it so that Peter Parker doesn't have to do any of the work. Like, that's the big thing about Peter Parker is he has to work for his powers. We saw that in Spider-Verse, and Karen just takes that away.
All right, Dragon, go ahead.
Okay.
Karen's a smart story device, so we can have Peter kind of exclaiming things and figuring things out, but he's actually kind of talking to someone who's not giving him all the answers. And even with all the toys in the toy box, like at least half the toys in the toy box, he's screwing up like crazy. He doesn't make things easier. If anything, it makes things harder, and we see that in the movie, where again, like he's trying to get the drop on Vulture and screwing up all the time.
Avenge me. That's the drunk goblin.
Yeah, I picked up on that. Yeah, that's Norman. Norman gets back at the end of the day, he's kind of yelling at himself there, and a little bit of Goblin Norman action. And the Goblin saying, "Norman, I thirst."
Harry, you worthless piece of
God.
Call your worthless son in here and tell him to bring you some brandy now.
back to formula.
Frasier's on. I don't want to miss it.
All right. I think. Is that it, or is there something? Is there?
That's it.
That's it. Okay.
You went first, right? So it's
Yeah, Tiki, Tiki already did.
All right. Well, I'm torn on this. Jacob, what do you think?
I mean, Tiki went for more iconography, while Dragon went more for the comic book angle.
Yeah, I think Tiki definitely went for the more iconography.
But Dragon, I think Dragon definitely had the stronger argument. It's like a definitely like he kind of went for more of a less is more kind of argument. Like it's actually a more comics accurate than anything that was ever in the Raimi movies as far as suit wise.
As far as as far as appearance of the suit, I mean, the ones the comics couldn't do all the fancy Tony Stark stuff, but as far as
that actually has been in several of the comics.
well, just as fact check capacity. Again, not trying to influence anything, but I don't know. Again, stop me if it sounds like I'm giving that. The point being, he had a belt that did all the stuff in terms of they worked into the suit. So technically, that's just as a fact check capacity. Absolutely.
I mean, heck, Spider-Man has all kinds of stuff throughout the years. So
really, I'm more interested in the fact that Dragon was going on saying that, really defending Karen, because Karen was kind of a big stab for me when Tiki said that, because yeah, Karen could be viewed definitely as kind of this weak point for Peter just to do nothing and have all this exploitation, but Dragon, you came back and said this is a way for him to express himself, and it actually causes him more trouble than what it's meant to. And I think you're right.
And yeah, it's like she actually helps him. She actually is helping him learn to be a better Spider-Man.
Yeah, because the entire Homecoming movie, he's still learning how to be a superhero, and I think Karen helps his character as a whole really progress.
And was it right? Was the name actually Karen? I'm just wondering.
Yeah, it's Karen.
All right, I was just double checking.
Voiced by Jennifer Connelly, Paul Bettany's wife in real life. Who, again, so funny, the two voices that start off as voices for their character. I'm sorry, go on.
I think. Long story short, I'm gonna be voting for Dragon on this one. Based on strength of argument.
Yeah, I think Dragon. Yeah, you definitely had the stronger argument, and I mean, because iconography is a really big thing, but you can't rely on that completely for when you're making a defense like this, and yeah, I mean, as far as sticking close to the appearance of the comics, while also bringing something really new and fresh to the dinner table, I think Homecoming is the superior suit. Yeah, Dragon gets the point then.
So that's 5, right?
If Dragon wins the debate.
All right, that was rather epic, guys, and I can't believe I lost. Jacob, can you do me a favor and screen share the main thumbnail?
Me?
Yeah, we got to stall. We got to get the thumbnail up. We got to.
All right, let me just get it open in Photoshop.
Well, everyone who's still
listening. So, Dragon,
listening,
you just won your special return comeback exhibition round. How do you feel?
I'm going to Disney. He's going to Disneyland.
Oh, come on! Don't rub it in like this. I'd like to go to Disneyland. Yes.
I think I like the way you put it, Dragon. It's like the opposite of the I don't want to go. It's like I want to go.
I'd like to go very much.
I think you'd like to go to the Spidey Noir universe more, though, right?
That'll be fun.
I mean, Disneyland is actually a tangible place you can visit, though, so I'd give the edge to Disneyland.
I'd be glitching out. It'd be very painful if I went there, Sandy.
Exactly. Also, if he goes there and then comes back, his concept of color might be all fucked up and distorted.
What's blue look like again?
Like, is that blue? What is the sky purple? No.
The clouds are orange, right?
It's like I looked upon the sunset, and I saw many blinding colors. But once I returned home, it will never be the same again.
A lot of grays.
So yeah, to anyone listening still, thank you for tuning in, for bearing with us through this epic debate.
Yeah, Sandy. Honestly, just to kind of give you some pointers on the hosting side of things, the only thing I would change about your hosting would be to have more variety to the speed round questions. I think that's
you're right.
Stumbled a little bit, but other than that, Sandy, I think you had a good gravitas. Can you full screen that, Jacob?
Remember, lock it on Jacob's screen.
I know. I have it locked on Jacob's screen.
Oh, good.
I don't know how to do full screen on this thing.
Is there a file view? View. Go to view. All right, folks.
Real quick, I'm just going to do a pass over the comments here. Now we're done with the debates. I'm just going to see if there's anything.
There we go.
Yeah, that's good.
No, just going back to that lizard love that we keep doing. Lizard deserves a second chance. I mean, Donovan, he loves his lizard, man. I don't blame him.
Also, Donovan, Snake Jafar. Snake Jafar.
Maybe that's why. Egad. No, but seriously, look, again, folks, I want, as we got to the end here, again, we had to make some, we had to say some harsh things. Again, like, I'm much more forgiving of the Raimi trilogy than I led on to be, but, it's... There's a lot to love there, obviously. The third movie is, it takes some easy shots, and again, of course, DiCaprio, obviously. DiCaprio
about screaming baby face.
What especially with the image that you picked. I mean, come on. So the point being, no hard feelings over kind of the arguments. Obviously, I'd love to see a Penny Parker movie too, but
that was specifically the image he told me to use.
Yeah, it was.
You really had no. Why didn't you go Wolf of Wall Street? Why on earth did you not? Or Jay?
Because that was the only image I could find of Leo with facial hair.
Yeah.
All right, well, we're still live, so we should probably...
Oh, I know, we need to... Okay, let's see. Yeah, we're all locked on that. It's as good as we're going to get, I guess. So, yeah.
Okay. All right, well, thank you so much for joining us, folks, and hashtag screaming babyface. Have a good night.